Money talks at the White House. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. Congressional leaders and President Biden meet today at the White House ahead of a fast-approaching debt limit deadline.
There he is. Hello. Wiggins showing up right in the nick of time.
Just have him run down the show real quick and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, without looking, what's going on?
What's for lunch?
Yeah.
Anyhow, Hannah.
Okay. Yeah, let's not even go there. All right, today's YouTube
The Papa
live.
Tracker said it was ready, and it wasn't.
Okay. Papa Tracker. Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking if Joe Manchin ran for POTUS, would he run as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? I don't know how I'm voting on this, so please inform me on the comments, and maybe you guys will sway me, because I don't really know how to vote on this. At 12:25, Greg Jarrett is going to join the show. He is a Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney, and law professor as well. He will be with us at 12:25. At 12:45, we have Wiggins America.
Signs you may be getting old.
Ooh.
What we all want to know is Hannah getting old?
Yeah.
And if you identify with these things, then you are getting old. If you do not, you are still young.
Okay.
How do you know if you've not just been old?
If you have kind of an old soul, that would be a way to sort of mess this whole thing up.
So like if you always identified with these.
Hey, it's Annie here, and I'm standing.
Annie,
someone's got to get this out of here.
Annie's talking, and Annie's listening to Annie talking.
Okay. Signs that you are getting older is what we're doing Wiggins America on. And then at 2:45, I will give us poll results. I anticipate this to be a pretty packed show. I'm excited. It's Tuesday. How do you feel that we already have been back from Disney for a week?
It feels like much longer.
Really?
Yeah. It feels like way longer than that. That feels like ages ago now. I was just looking at your pictures that you posted though. And I was like, oh yeah.
Forgot we did
I
that.
remember all of that.
Feels like forever ago. Okay. Once again, the YouTube live chat poll is asking if Joe Manchin ran for POTUS, would it be as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? I will give those results at 2:45 today. Greg Jarrett, Wiggins America, and yeah. Always news, always happening, ain't my show.
Yeah, breaking news all the time. Last minute everything.
Last minute everything, yes. So,
thank you, champion.
We're excited for that. Champion? Oh. And soon, Annie's going to talk to you about the Closet Factory. Which always interests me.
I can give you a minute.
Okay. Thank you all.
Are you guys done?
Yep.
Yes.
Dave Murray.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
The Closet Factory, online at closetfactory.com, locally owned and operated family business right here in St. Louis. They had been in my home last week, and I am so excited to show you the results of what they were able to install in my house to take away. We had this big monstrosity of a corner desk. These old corner desks were meant for big desktop computers. days gone by. Right now, I have beautiful built-ins in my home that have 2 desk spaces for my kiddos to do their schoolwork, but they're also very good and beautiful for displaying things and storing different things that might not have to do with kids doing homework. They're very multifunctional and they match the house and everything. I'm going to put up a video of this on our social media so you can see what the Closet Factory was able to do for us. If you have a specific need in your house, if you have a trouble area, if you have clutter, if you have a place that just collects things that don't really have a different place or a home in your home, you need the Closet Factory. Find them online at closetfactory.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of the respective companies.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We had to sit through year after year after year of this nonsense of Trump and Republicans having something to do with Russia. So the Department of Justice, the FBI, congratulations, you scumbags. You have successfully poisoned the minds of millions of Americans, while at the same time, you're going to have half of America, including myself, who doesn't trust anything the Department of Justice or the FBI have to say.
So Devin Nunes, reacting to the Durham report, came out with about 30 minutes or so left in the Annie Frey Show yesterday. And I've been able to digest some of it. And here's the summation of what we know. And it's fun to watch the talking points on both sides of the aisle roll out for everybody to consume. We know that Crossfire Hurricane, which was the name of the investigation into Donald Trump and his collusion with Russia, was a bunch of bologna sausage. It was a whole big wrapped up bologna sausage shoved down the throats of the American people. Why? So that Hillary Clinton would win the election. This is the key point to me. We weren't supposed to know. You weren't supposed to ever find out. It was never supposed to get this big because Hillary Clinton was supposed to win that election. Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. We've got a lot of big breaking news in the last 24 hours, but specifically, I'm going to read here from KMOV.com. KMOV staff and Dan Greenwald reporting on their website just about 15 minutes ago. Kim Gardner, St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner is resigning effective Tuesday. The Missouri governor's office told News 4. Gardner initially planned to resign on June 1st. She announced in early May she was stepping down amid accusations by Attorney General Andrew Bailey that she had neglected the duties of her office. Bailey launched an effort to oust her from office, and since then, multiple assistant prosecutors have resigned. After Gardner announced she would step down in early June, Bailey said she would resign immediately and announced the process to remove her from office would continue. A judge called the circuit attorney's office, quote, a rudderless ship of chaos. During a contempt hearing, the hearing was connected to the case of a shooting of an 11-year-old girl. So according to sources, there's talk that Wesley Bell will be taking over possibly in the interim. According to KMOV.com, he was seen at the circuit attorney's office Tuesday along with members of his top staff. He declined to comment for News 4. Gardner was not seen at the courthouse. Governor Parson has been in the process of working to determine who will be appointed when Gardner said she would resign on June 1st. KMOV reporting this 15 minutes ago. We're reporting it right here on 97.1 FM Talk Now. Kim Gardner is resigning effective today. She gone. Bye. How much further could it go down from here? Then Chicago gets a new mayor and they say, here, hold my non-Bud Light beer. It's a big day for St. Louis. It's a big day for justice. What are you going to do with this opportunity? I'd like to see if we can get Mark Cox on here at 1 o'clock. If he's listening, Mark, text us and let us know if you can join us at 1:05, because I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to talk about this. The Mark Reardon Show will certainly be covering this top to bottom. And we've got a few feelers out right now to get experts on here to talk about this breaking story. Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner resigns effective today, according to the Missouri Governor's Office and Channel 4, KMOV.com reporting. So initially, right before, this is the way these things go in the news business. I plan a show. I get everything ironed out. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to talk about it. Here's who we're going to talk to. And then 15 minutes before the show starts, they're like, oh, breaking news, big breaking news. So as I said, we're going to work on getting some people on here to iron this out and discuss this a little more in detail, and give us about an hour and we'll be able to do that with you. I do want to talk about the Durham probe, and I do want to discuss what are the ramifications? What's the fallout of the Durham report? And what you're going to hear from people who are detractors are this. All of a sudden, this is my fave. All the people on the left are like really concerned about taxpayer spending right now. It's like monstrously just aghast. Oh, all the taxpayer dollars spent on this report. For what? For what? Well, to uncover your disgusting lies and the dramatic political abuse of the largest investigative bureau in our country. That's for what? If it doesn't result in indictments and charges, is it a waste of money? Did the Durham report say anything different than the Inspector General, the IG report from Horowitz, which we had years ago? Well, Greg Jarrett is joining us in about 10 minutes. You're going to want to stay right here on 97.1 FM Talk on the Annie Frey Show, because Greg Jarrett is going to be with us in about 10, 12 minutes as a Fox News legal analyst and also former defense attorney and law professor. Very, very well-versed on all of these things. And he's going to give us the lowdown dirty. Many people on the left are saying, what a ghastly waste of taxpayer dollars. And I'm like, so we found the thing that we can waste taxpayer dollars on. Discovering what happened in phony hoax investigations into political opponents. If only we had a way to impeach a president for trying to dig up dirt on a political opponent. Yes, that's what you did. You impeached Donald Trump because of his phone call with Zelensky, because you said that all he was trying to do was dig up dirt on a political opponent. The whole concept of the Russia collusion hoax was to imply that Donald Trump partnered with Russia, to steal an election from the American people. One of the talking points, and I'm not reading any of the comments coming through right now on the YouTube live chat. I'm not going there yet because I got to have my say unfiltered and unaccessed by any comments coming in, and then I will digest them. The idea of the Russia hoax was that Donald Trump and his campaign partnered with Russia and Vladimir Putin to steal the election from you, to take it from you. That was the idea behind the whole Russia hoax. People on the left are going to say, well, it's true that Russia did try to, this is how they talk on the left. It is true that Russia did try to interfere with our election, and they did try to do it on behalf of Donald Trump. That's how they talk. And while we can go back and look at the tape of the investigative bureaucracies indicting, I don't know, I can't remember the details specifically, it's like 16 or 18 people from Russia who tried to buy some ads in, I think, Florida to try to sway the election. They did show that Russia did try to interfere with the elections. And they did show that they tried to make an impact and an imprint on our elections. And the investigative properties at that time said they did not affect the election whatsoever. So let's compartmentalize the poo-pooing of the Durham report that comes from the left, and that's how the left talks. I'll remind you. The poo-pooing of the Durham report, and understand that the counterpoint of, well, there was Russia interference with the election. It wasn't because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't do that. That was a campaign talking point by whom? His opponent in that very race. His opponent in that very race partnered with a group of people who completely manifested an entire lie with the help of Igor Danchenko, who, from what I understand, is Russian. So they partnered with somebody from Russia to make up lies about Donald Trump, and then they got all the Igor parties involved, all of them together. And then they talk like this, and they said, we're going to get Donald Trump in the end. We'll beat him in the election. They lied about Donald Trump. They sold it to the media. The media fed it back to the investigative bureaucracies. And they said, we got what we need to go on with this. And you know what the Durham report said that the Horowitz report, the IG report, didn't say? The Durham report distinctly states that there was no factual evidence of any kind to pursue Crossfire Hurricane, that it was baloney sausage from the very first capital letter in the very first sentence surrounding this story. Completely and total political hit job. From the report, our investigation determined that the Crossfire Hurricane investigators did not and could not corroborate any of the substantive allegations contained in the Steele reporting, nor was Steele able to produce corroboration for any of the reported allegations, even after being offered $1 million or more by the FBI for such corroboration. Further, when interviewed by the FBI in January 2017, Danchenko also was unable to corroborate any of the substantive allegations in the reports. Rather, Danchenko characterized the information he provided to Steele as, quote, rumor and speculation, and the product of casual conversation. He lied. And Hillary Clinton bought it. She paid for it. She campaigned on it. She expected to win on it. And none of this would ever come to light. But Donald Trump won. And we are more than 2 years into Joe Biden's presidency, and you cannot tell me that the lies that were told about Donald Trump and his relationship with Russia before he was ever elected by the American people, who were so disgusted with Hillary Clinton, were like, we'll give this guy a try. He's a philanderer. He's a playboy. He's filthy rich, and he plates everything in gold just to make sure you think he might be even richer than he really is. We'll give this guy a try because nope, not her. We know what we're getting with her. We'll run with this guy and see what happens. People like me who conceded that there's no way that I can do something that's going to contribute to Hillary Clinton stepping foot in the Oval Office as Madam President. I got to vote for this guy. It's what I got to do. They slandered him the entire time. They lied about him, and they knew exactly what they were doing. And the people who are supposed to hold justice and true equality in their hands, the FBI, is the worst of them all. Second to one. The baloney sausage media that does not care about truth. They care about outcome. And they're willing to do anything that they can to achieve the outcome that is predetermined with all of the interested parties. And you know who is not an interested party? You know who's not considered in all of that? You know who doesn't matter in that equation at all? And still, after the Durham report, because it doesn't result in obvious indictments, because it just shows incredibly moronic and slanted judgment by some of the worst Americans who have ever been involved in government bureaucracy. Because there aren't people, quote unquote, going to jail immediately, those on the left who are so incredibly blinded and obsessed over their hatred for a man that they don't even understand why they hate him. They just know that's what they're supposed to do. They wake up in the morning and they say, it's a day to hate Donald Trump. And when they lay their head on the pillow again, it's a night to hate Donald Trump. I'm going to dream about it in my fantasies, how much I hate Donald Trump, so that when I wake up, I remember how much I hate Donald Trump. Imagine living like that. The people who look at the result of the Durham report and say it's a nothing burger, there's nothing here. They don't love your America. They don't want to sustain your America. They don't want to save your America. They are not like you. Anybody who can assess what came out of the Durham report, who can see how massively powerful the pairing of a bureaucracy of people who were never elected by their peers to do what they do, partnered with a media that cares only about money and power, just like the people who they uphold in their choice of reporting, in their slant in reporting. All of those people have left somebody out of that equation. And that person is you. You are the one who is left in the dust, holding the nothing burger that is the Durham report, because not a damn thing is going to change until the person in the Oval Office changes. Nothing is going to give until the person at the top restructures the bureaucracy that is taken over in an immense amount of power that is not elected, that is not in the Constitution, that is bureaucratic and sustaining and will work to sustain the bureaucracy in spite of you. That's what's at stake in 2024. And I don't care who your horse is in the race. If they don't care about justice and equality, people march for this kind of stuff. If they don't care about it, if you've got somebody who's trying to win a political argument with you, telling you that the Durham report is a nothing burger, end the conversation. Those people are not your people. They're not in love with this country, because the Constitution was created to protect us from the type of bologna sausage that was done by the FBI in conjunction with the people who have the power of the First Amendment. A free press. You are not involved in the equation in this version of the United States of America. And I don't know how many elections you have left to force yourself at the epicenter of that equation. Maybe just one more. When we come back, Greg Jarrett is going to be with us. He's a Fox News legal analyst. He's a former defense attorney and law professor and author. And he's going to give us the legal expertise behind what the Durham report said, what it doesn't say, and does it mean anything? Is it a nothing burger? We'll see what Greg Jarrett has to say on the Annie Frey Show when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Whatever it is I did, gonna do it all I can. Stream run on the ocean, ocean run down to the sea.
So the Diamond Shop is located in Clayton, Missouri, and they've been in St. Louis since 1910. They're situated perfectly in Clayton, easy to get to, just down the street from the Starbucks coffee shop right there. And when you go into the Diamond Shop, it sparkles immediately. And whatever your pursuit is, if you know you're going to walk in and walk out with something that day, or if you're just starting your jewelry purchase for the first time, the amazing family-operated business at the Diamond Shop is going to be there to usher you through that purchase. They're going to talk to you. They're going to get to know you. They're going to get to know what you're buying for. Maybe you're buying for yourself and you've always dreamt of a pair of diamond studs. I love this policy, this plan that they have at the Diamond Shop. You can get like starter diamond studs. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Every girl likes to have a pair of diamond studs. And you can upgrade your studs as your finances and your time period allows, which means you can get a starter pair that is what you can afford. And then you can come bring those studs back in and trade them in and trade up. And they're beautiful. They're so pretty. When you talk to Tom, Mona, Nikki, and the entire staff at the Diamond Shop, you will quickly understand why they become a generational jeweler for so many people in St. Louis. You can become a VIP by signing up online at thediamondshop.net.
Business owners, are you feeling the pressures of running your business? There's a limit to what you can do and still keep employees engaged. Insperity can help. They put 30 plus years of HR experience to work to help you with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance while giving your employees competitive benefit options. And because you're able to focus on other priorities, your employees can thrive and your business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Full service HR, employee benefits, HR technology. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
May is a great time for savings with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here for my friends at Chesterfield Fence. You can save 20% off your next outdoor project just by mentioning that you heard me talking about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Call them up, 636-532-4054. Have them come over and give you a free estimate. They take a lot of pride in what they do. They've been at this since 1968. This locally owned and operated for 55 years under the same ownership. If you need a new fence, they've got great wood cedar fences or low maintenance vinyl fences. They can also do aluminum, steel, and chain link. For the decks, the beautiful natural cedar decks, or even Vecadec vinyl decking, that is no maintenance and beautiful colors. Espresso, hazelnut. Go take a look. Visit their showroom down in the Chesterfield Valley. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. Again, 636-532-4054, chesterfieldfence.com.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You found 97.1 FM Talk, where we ask questions, even when the legacy media won't. Especially when the legacy media won't.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Regardless, the report is now here. It has dropped, and it might not have produced everything of what some Republicans hoped for. It is, regardless, devastating to the FBI, and to a degree, it does exonerate Donald Trump.
So there's Jake Tapper saying this is devastating to the FBI. The Durham report coming out right about the time our show wrapped yesterday. So we're digesting it here in the last 24 hours. And for us, our number one thing is to not pretend we're the experts. We get the experts. We welcome Greg Jarrett onto the Annie Frey Show, Fox News legal analyst. He's a former defense attorney and law professor, and he's an author of the book, The Trial of the Century. And we're excited to have him on the show with us right now. Greg, welcome back. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Annie, great talking to you. Good to be back.
So when you hear Jake Tapper saying this is devastating to the FBI, you're looking at the Durham report. I'm sure you've consumed as much of it as you can in 24 hours. Is that an accurate statement from Jake Tapper?
Oh, it absolutely is. I'm going to have to stop calling him Jake the Fake tapper because he actually gave a very accurate description of what this 306-page report truly says, that the FBI violated every rule in the book. They had no credible evidence, no actionable intelligence. Nevertheless, they launched this dilating, damaging investigation of Donald Trump because they hated him. They never, as Durham points out in the report, they never even bothered to talk to the people on whose, documents they had relied. And the principal document, of course, was the phony dossier that Hillary Clinton had bankrolled. She had invented the lie, the smear, that Trump had colluded with Russia. And then she and her Confederates went about peddling it, not just to the media, but to the FBI. Now, Durham points out, how come the FBI didn't open a criminal investigation of Hillary Clinton? And it's a fair point. I mean, what she did constitutes crimes. It's called conspiring to defraud the government, lying to the FBI. But the Bureau was so biased under James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, that they did the opposite. They went after an innocent man for unidentified crimes because they loathed him and they hated his politics.
Yeah, it's very scary as somebody who sits here and, I vote a certain way. A lot of my listeners vote a certain way. But at some point, you want to be able to turn over trust to the people who are in charge to say, at the end, justice, we're all working for the same thing here. We all love what this country is. And you trust your investigative bureaucracies to do that. I think that is lost in this Durham report. And if you're an average Joe sitting in middle America like I am, how do you trust anything the FBI says in the future?
Well, you can't. And the reason it took Durham so long, took 7 years essentially to uncover all of this, is because the FBI is very skilled at covering up their own corruption. And, I laughed yesterday when the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, responded to the report by saying, we've already implemented corrective actions to prevent this kind of abuse from ever happening again. I mean, that's ludicrous. It's a self-serving statement. It's belied by recent evidence that the FBI tampered with a more recent presidential election in 2020 by pressuring social media companies into censoring and suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story to throw the election in favor of Joe Biden and against Donald Trump. And frankly, it worked. Polling data shows that a full 16% of Biden voters would have cast their ballots differently had they known the truth about, Biden family corruption. We've got whistleblowers now who allege both the Bureau and the DOJ are running a protection racket to cover up Biden family influence peddling scheme. So, the FBI says they've changed. They haven't.
And one of the things, we're speaking with Greg Jarrett right now, that I've heard in the wake this last 24 hours, just in the different things that I've consumed reaction to the Durham report, the FBI continues to respond with concerns about members of the FBI damaging the FBI brand. But at the end of the day, what about our constitutional right to equal justice under the law? We don't have that in this country right now. And it's very scary to think that the person who's in the Oval Office can dramatically sway, with the appointment of somebody to direct the FBI or with an attorney general, have that much of an influence over which political party gets persecuted and which one gets off.
And I found it interesting, you're correct, Annie, I found it interesting that Durham directly addresses a dual system of justice, and he gives examples of it. Certainly the examples I gave in my 2 books that I wrote about this in 2018, 2019, is that, Hillary Clinton had clearly violated the Espionage Act more than 100 times in her email scandal. She obstructed justice by destroying evidence under subpoena. Those are crimes, and they're easy crimes to prove. And James Comey at the FBI knew it, and without authority, he cleared her. And, on the very same day, I wrote about this in my first book, The Russia Hoax, on the very day that he cleared her, simultaneously as he's standing in front of TV cameras, his FBI is meeting with Christopher Steele, who composed the phony dossier that Hillary Clinton had bankrolled. And Steele was turning over the first few pages of that dossier to the FBI. Within a couple of weeks, they opened, without authority, the investigation of Donald Trump based on Hillary's lies.
We're speaking with Greg Jarrett. He is an author. He's got a book coming out here soon, but I want to mention two of your other books, The Russia Hoax and Witch Hunt. You've cataloged and on a timeline really dived deep into what the Donald Trump campaign and presidency has experienced. And we've heard Donald Trump use the word hoax, and we've heard Donald Trump use the words witch hunt. Is Donald Trump completely exonerated in all of those accusations that he has made about what was being done to him post Durham report?
Oh, absolutely. And the Durham report underscores that it was all a lie. He doesn't use the word hoax, but that's what a lie is. A deception, a canard, a smear based on phony information. And it was a witch hunt, and the mainstream media drove the witch hunt. They were riven with bias. They became witting accessories to the lie, and they convicted Trump in the court of public opinion without a whiff of supportable evidence. And the New York Times and the Washington Post even won coveted Pulitzer Prizes for getting the story fundamentally wrong. If any of those journalists had an ounce of decency, they'd apologize and hand back their Pulitzer Prizes. But, the sad coda to all of this is none of the people involved will ever be held accountable in a court of law, and the media will continue to get away with their biased reporting and their lies.
Yeah. Greg Jarrett was with us right now, Fox News legal analyst and former defense attorney and law professor. That's my question. You might have just answered it, but maybe there's more to it. Voters, taxpayers, American citizens, people who have a different political viewpoint than the current prevailing viewpoint of both these bureaucracies and the media. Is there any retribution or recompense coming for those individuals?
No, I don't think so. Statute of limitations is run on a lot of this. Durham had the ability to bring criminal charges. He brought two of them, actually three of them. One, the lawyer at the FBI got a slap on the wrist. The other two were, acquitted in courts where it was impossible to get a fair trial. Insofar as people suing, I think Carter Page should hold up the 306 pages of the Durham report. And Durham tends to encourage this in the language he uses and sue all the people that ruined his life. I mean, this is a guy who served in the military with great distinction and honor. And the FBI lawyer took a document that said, hey, he's one of us. He's actually been helping intelligence agencies for years. And he reversed it and said he hasn't helped us at all. It was a terrible lie. Comey knew it was a lie. McCabe knew it was a lie. All the people at the FBI knew it was a lie. And they used that doctored record to lie to the FISA court, to get warrants to spy on the Trump campaign. I mean, that's just incomprehensible behavior by people who are in public office sworn to uphold the law at the FBI. And they didn't do it.
We're speaking with Greg Jarrett. Greg, were there any crimes committed here? Is any crime unveiled by the Durham report?
Yeah, a lot of crimes in my judgment. Most of all by Hillary Clinton. When you conspire with others to unduly influence an election with a lie, when you knowingly deliver to the FBI false information and falsified records those are, conspiracy crimes. And, she's Teflon. She'll never get prosecuted for things like that because there apparently isn't the appetite, there isn't the will for political reasons.
Well, final question to you. A lot of pushback from people on the left, or they're all of a sudden just passionately worried about wasting taxpayer dollars. And they continue to report like, what a waste of all of the money that was spent on the Durham report to deliver this nothing burger. And as you said, nobody's going to jail over this. Nobody's going to pursue these, trying to prosecute these crimes that you're suggesting that the Durham report says Hillary Clinton has committed. Is this a waste of taxpayer dollars?
No, it is not. Even if you don't bring criminal charges, Americans deserve the truth, and they get it in the Durham report, which outlines in minute, excruciating detail all of the malevolent acts by government officials and those outside government to try to destroy a presidency and drive a president from office. There's value in that, the historical record, and hopefully it will serve as a deterrent in the future to put public figures on notice that you may get away with it in terms of criminal prosecution, but it will be a part of the historic record that this was done, and it has shaken Americans' trust in our government. Trust is earned. It can easily be squandered. And, agencies like the FBI have squandered that trust. And there is value in that. You mentioned, some people saying it's a nothing burger. That's a quote from the notorious, infamous Andrew Weissman, who was the lead prosecutor under Robert Mueller. And, he was always angry that Mueller abided by the law and refused to say anything other than the fact that there was no evidence of any criminal conspiracy between Trump and the Russians. And, Weissman has always been fuming since then. No surprise that MSNBC is more than happy to put that kind of a guy, truly one of the most miserable lawyers I've ever seen, in front of television cameras to spend even more canards.
Well, you talk about the historical importance of this truth being exposed through the Durham report, and much of that historical context comes from the storytellers, and you are a fantastic one. I'd encourage people to check out Witch Hunt and the Russia hoax, but you've got a new book out right now, and that's The Trial of the Century. Before we let you go, we're speaking with Greg Jarrett. Can you tell us a little bit about this new book that you have out called The Trial of the Century?
It was a 1925 trial called the Scopes Monkey Trial. It was evolution versus creationism. The fundamentalist movement was so strong in the 1920s, they were successfully able to pressure states into banning books on Darwin's cornerstone theory. They were able in Tennessee to criminalize the teaching of evolution in a biology class in a public school. And John Scopes, a 25-year-old amiable school teacher, was arrested, handcuffed, and hauled off to the Hooskow. And the greatest trial lawyer who ever lived, Clarence Darrow, came to his rescue and volunteered to defend him for free. I obtained the original trial transcript from the archives of the old courthouse, and that's what the book is based on, a really stunning outcome and the greatest cross-examination in American history. The New York Times called it the most amazing court scene in Anglo-Saxon history. I recount it in the book. It's important now because it established our fundamental cherished rights of free speech, academic autonomy, and intellectual empowerment. We rely on those today thanks to John Scopes and Clarence Darrow.
Well, Greg Jarrett, you are a New York Times best-selling author, and you write about many things that are important to, our rights, generally speaking, as Americans. And this story sounds like a very compelling one as well. Thank you for talking to us today about this Durham report and sharing with us that story about your new book. We look forward to checking it out.
Thanks so much, Annie. Great talking to you as always.
You too. Thank you so much. Greg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst. former defense attorney and law professor and author. His new book, The Trial of the Century, you can check that out now. And you can also look into those two books that he's written, The Witch Hunt, it's called Witch Hunt, and also The Russia Hoax, on what has culminated eventually here. Yesterday, the news release that the Durham report is out, and it didn't look good for the FBI and consequentially the American people either. We're going to take a quick break. Wiggins America in studio. When we return, he's got things that upset you now that you're older or just, in fact, old. Who better to tell us than Ryan Wiggins? He'll come in here in the studio and we'll cover that when we come back. Don't go away. So Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group folks are going to be at the Frontenac Hilton tonight. Are you going to be there? I think there are a couple of seats left open. You can reserve them. If your night freed up this evening, come hang out. I'll be there at about 6 o'clock, and I'm there till about 6:30 when the event starts, and we turn it over to Thomas Helbig, and he is going to help you understand how you can protect your retirement. It's really that simple. It is free. He has snacks and drinks for you to enjoy. And Mark Cox and Mark Reardon and I will be there for about 30 minutes leading up to the event so we can say hi to you. It's always our pleasure to meet folks just like you at these events. And it is a good investment of your time. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg and still generate more income than most investment options. Knowing things like this will help you protect your worry-free retirement. And Thomas Helbig is there to make sure that you are able to do that. You can reserve your spot by calling 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Tell them that Annie Frey sent you. I hope to see you tonight at the Frontenac Hilton at 6 to 6:30 p.m. online at retirementkey.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet Store can help you.
My feet would just ache, my back, my ankles. I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our two locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Good Feet arch supports fit in all your own shoes. Come to the Good Feet Store for a free test walk today. You can try it before you buy it.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's Kim Gardner resignation news, and Annie's going to talk to Mark Cox and catch up on everything. If you haven't heard, that's at 1:05. The time right now is 12:48, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Critical thinking in critical times. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Everyone is welcome. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Girl, please excuse me if I'm coming too strong. But tonight is the night we can really let go. My girlfriend's out of town and I'm all alone. Your boyfriend's on vacation and he doesn't have to know. No.
Wiggins! Oh!
Wiggins!
You know what I always associate with Enrique Iglesias?
Ryan Wiggins?
Anna Kournikova. Anyway.
What, did they date?
Yeah.
Fill me in. I'm too old to know.
Google it.
Okay, I will. Right now.
Do you know that they call the ace king in poker the Anna Kournikova because it looks good but it never wins? Never mind.
Wow.
Oh, man.
There's some poker tennis humor for you.
That's funny. You know, I haven't heard her name in a long time.
That's Enrique Iglesias from the 90s.
Enrique
You'd have to be
Iglesias.
old to know who she is.
That's right. Speaking of being old, here's how you're going to know that you're old. I'm going to bring you a few things.
I really hope I get an Anna Kournikova hate mail.
Number
I know
one,
you're out there somewhere.
big fan of Anna Kournikova. These are a list of things that if you still like them, then you're young. If you don't, then you're old.
Says who?
Says a whole lot of sources. I pulled these from a lot of places.
Says you.
Says me. I mean, a lot of people saying the same things, but I have compiled them.
So if you like these things, you're young. If you don't like them, you're old.
You've gotten old.
Before you get into this, have you determined that you're old or not? Young and hip.
Kind of right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of confidence here. Loads. Go on.
Number one,
Mhm.
going out and partying.
No, don't want to do that.
Did you ever?
I like to be around my friends. I'm still okay with that. But I'd rather it be like in sweatpants.
You know what? That counts, though. I would say that counts because we're talking about social activity and really what constitutes a party. Just enough people, right? Doesn't have to be a banger.
I don't know.
Just called it a banger.
We're using the right terminology,
The truly
right?
old people in the
that was
audience right now
good.
are like, a banger? That sounds inappropriate.
This party's bussin'.
Hannah,
please stop.
Is a banger a good party?
A banger is a great party.
It is a piece of sausage.
Oh, really? It's also a city in Maine.
It's usually coupled with mash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you still party?
I still party.
Okay. Then you're young. This is the best one on the list. I hate to use it so early. Number 2, noise.
I hate noise.
And I'm talking, I'm going to break this down a little bit into loud cars and trucks or other people's music.
I've never liked that.
I think we know where I stand on this one.
You're no?
Loud noises.
Oh, I thought you liked
no,
loud
I've
trucks.
got loud truck. I've got a subwoofer and an amplifier in my truck and all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, make it loud.
So you like it?
Youngblood.
Yes.
Yeah, Youngblood.
I hate all
Doesn't
noise.
Doesn't it matter what kind of noise we're talking about?
Yeah, it does. I just defined it. Loud cars and trucks and other people's music.
Other people's music.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad's describing his music.
Yeah, I
That's
turn my
way-
music up so I
that's
don't have to listen to
way
yours.
different than like if I'm in my car by myself, I have to go to the Hell Big event tonight. I'm going to get probably a total of 60 minutes of car time by myself. That music's going to be loud.
For in your car.
I literally said to my kids yesterday on the way home from picking them up from school, can you please stop talking? I need to think.
I get it. I get it.
Mom's old. Shut up.
Well, that's why I said other people's, because if you turn up your own music,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I listen to loud music sometimes
Wait, this
still.
is this we're doing this to see if you're okay with it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Number 3, waiting for things and people.
I'm more patient now than I have been in the past.
I was going to say the same thing. I used to be less patient than I am now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impatient.
I think this would be the inverse. That if you're going to get more patient the older you get.
Isn't that what it's saying?
I'm more patient
No, it's
now.
saying that you get worse with time because you have less time.
The younger you are, the less you've ever had to wait for anything.
Yeah, no joke.
So the less you understand waiting for things. Which
Agreed.
is why when we went to Disney, we paid for every advantage that we could
Yes,
take.
because time was of the absolute essence. Number 4, anytime the grocery store or really any store rearranges itself, you are against it. I agree with this 100%. Don't go changing where I find
Just
my
keep
tacos.
the healthy foods on the perimeter and I'm good.
Yeah?
I don't care at all.
I want to add to
Go
this.
to Ruler Foods and save money.
I want to add to this worthless software updates.
I use a Mac, so I don't have a problem.
Whenever
all sorts of worthless software
things
with
update
Macs.
all the time, and it seems like they're just updating to update. There's no
squashed a few bugs and improved your overall experience is what it says.
Yeah.
I remember upgrading Microsoft Word one time, and it was like, there's no difference. Everything's just in a different spot. It's the same features.
It's always a security update, though. Some hackers found a
So
way to get
no
in.
rearranging. The old people don't like rearranging.
Girls, I guess boys too. Shopping, just in general. Shopping. Do you still like it?
I love shopping by myself.
Well, that says a lot.
In fact, I like anything by myself at this point in my life because it doesn't happen ever, anywhere.
Last one or two, if we can squeeze it in. Mail.
Oh, it's the
Just
worst.
period.
I hate the mail.
just mail. Not email.
I want to
mail. Physical mail.
No, I want to take a sledgehammer to my mailbox so nobody can ever give me mail again. No mail ever. None.
Your real mailbox, not
Yes!
your inbox.
I just said my mailbox.
Okay, just making
sledgehammer.
sure.
Not like Hillary Clinton stuff on my computer. I want to take an actual sledgehammer
Yeah.
to my mailbox. I hate the mail. I only get it once every other week.
Wow.
I hate it. And I get 2 weeks worth of mail in one grab. Not a dang thing that I need to have.
Nothing of value.
Nothing.
Except bills, right? You still get
No,
bills.
I don't. They all
No
come-
bills?
No. Because it's 2023, Ryan.
I get my medical bills in the mail. So that's why I don't like opening the mail. Just medical bills and
Mark
ads.
Cox on the Kim Gardner resignation when we come back.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden for Ophthalmology Associates. My eye health is super important to me for a variety of reasons. About 30 years ago, I had an eye disease, and I almost had a retinal detachment, had surgery. Everything has been okay, but regular eye care has become important for me and has been for decades. And I only trust the best. And that's doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra at Ophthalmology Associates. They're here in St. Louis to take care of all of your vision needs. Maybe you have dry eye or your eyes itchy and scratchy. It might be more than just allergies. And Ophthalmology Associates is a leader in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. Let's talk LASIK. With modern LASIK procedures, more people can benefit, and LASIK can reduce or eliminate your need for contacts and glasses. Even if there's nothing going on in particular, annual eye health exams can prevent many kinds of eye and health problems, and they're typically covered by insurance. If you want excellent eye care, trust Ophthalmology Associates. It's a great office experience and staff. They're always on the leading edge of the latest technology. 12990 Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270, 314-966-5000. Online at yourEyeDoc.com. That's yourEyeDoc.com.
One of the reasons people will consider refinancing the mortgage on their home is because there are other debts that maybe skyrocketed. It's your credit card debt. Rates are ridiculously high, like historically high on the credit card debt. And you're sitting there with a lot of equity in your home and you're thinking, is it a smart move to refinance my home right now to pay down this high interest credit card debt? Well, when you call Stewie, he's going to walk you through the process so that you can understand exactly how it can work for you. And I will tell you this, Stewie is a very honest person. And if he can't help you, if his system doesn't work for you, he's not going to tell you that it is. He's going to walk you through the process of how he can help you and what he can't do for you. And you can trust him. I trust him. I've done a refinance twice with him, and I'm incredibly pleased as a customer of Stewart's American Mortgage. Call or text him at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
A natural gas leak can be found almost anywhere, even if you're out for an evening stroll in the neighborhood. An important safety tip from Mango, the Missouri Association of Natural Gas Operators. If you smell gas, act fast. Leave the area, go upwind, and from a safe location, call 911.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Reaction to a 4-year probe. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The FBI is responding to a 300-page report by Special Counsel John Durham that criticized the agency for initiating an investigation into Russia's ties to the 2016 campaign of former President Trump.
The FBI saying it has made numerous changes since then. John Durham began his investigation May 13th of 2019, so we are literally just a few days over the 4-year mark. He spent over $6 million on this investigation. He wrote, "We conclude the department and the FBI failed to uphold their important mission of strict fidelity to the law in connection with certain events and activities described in this report."
Fox's David Spunt. President Biden set to meet this afternoon with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and congressional leaders at the White House for more talks on the nation's debt limit. The U.S. Treasury again warning the U.S. could run out of cash to keep paying the nation's bills as soon as June 1st if there's no agreement. Americans were spending more in April, though not as much as economists were predicting.
Retail sales rose 0.4% last month. Excluding auto sales, the increase is the same, a 0.4% increase. For the year ending in April, sales increased 1.6%. Though the monthly increase reverses 2 months of spending declines, economists were expecting a bigger improvement. Inflation and higher interest rates have cut into spending.
Fox's Ginny Casola. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen today reassuring a banking group that the country's financial system remains sound despite a string of bank failures and saying taxpayers were not on the hook for depositor losses.
I believe that our actions reduce the risk of further bank failures that would have imposed losses on the Deposit Insurance Fund.
A Senate hearing is underway today on Capitol Hill on the recent bank failures. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Cool times around town on this Tuesday afternoon. Our high should be about 68 degrees below average. Most of the rain is now gone. Clouds, though, will dominate. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 55 for the overnight low. 2 fantastic days on the way for Wednesday and Thursday. Sunny skies, lower humidity, nice temperatures, 77 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Illinois Family Institute is a great destination for you to remain informed about what's going on in the state of Illinois. Their mission is to boldly bring biblical perspectives to public policy. These perspectives, if you hold these perspectives, they deserve to be represented in Illinois government consideration. And a lot of times, if you're looking at Springfield, you're thinking to yourself, I don't really see a whole lot of that. It's a huge priority for you. It's a huge priority for me as a constituent. I want these types of perspectives to be seen and heard. And the Illinois Family Institute is there doing that. You can go to their website. I'm on their website right now at illinoisfamily.org. And at the top, it says subscribe, and it offers action alerts. It gives you examples of different things that are in front of the legislature right now, opportunities to fill out witness slips, issues that are facing Illinois legislators right now that you can be a part of. I'm looking right now here at a story about the first trimester chemical abortions that are taking place in the state of Illinois. These are huge issues that are facing people in this state, and the Illinois Family Institute is there to advocate for you. If you'd like to support them, all you got to do is go onto their website at illinoisfamily.org and click subscribe and receive their action alerts. That's illinoisfamily.org.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we take on the establishment and challenge corporations to be better for the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 6189 million.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hey, it's Annie here. Join me and the entire AFS team on Friday, May 19th, as we broadcast live from the St. Clair County Republicans' 3rd Annual Chairman's Golf Tournament. Help us support conservative values locally. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not married to sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not married to sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The court has opined that her office appears on the brink of collapse. And within the past 2 weeks, several more of her assistants have quit and walked away from the dysfunctional office. The court has opined that her office is a rudderless ship of chaos. Every minute she remains in office puts lives and property in St. Louis at risk.
That's the Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, in court a couple weeks ago almost, saying the rudderless ship of chaos regarding Kim Gardner's circuit attorney's office. Well, we have news today. All the local news sources are reporting this, including KMOV. I'm just going to read from their article. St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner resigning effective Tuesday, according to the Missouri Governor's office. We wanted to touch base with Mark Cox because this happened after a show, and we thought he might have something he'd like to say about this. Mark Cox of the Mark Cox Morning Show here on 97.1 FM Talking, my friend. Mark, welcome back to 97.1, of course. Big news for you. Were you surprised by this news today?
I was surprised, Annie, to be honest with you, and I think now they need to change that description to ex-captain of the Titanic, because that's exactly what Kim Gardner managed to do in her 4 years in that office.
Right.
It's an embarrassing legacy, and thank goodness for the residents of St. Louis that she's stepping down. I was afraid she might change her mind.
Right. And that was something that Andrew Bailey had said on my show. I'm certain with you and with Mark Reardon in the afternoon that his reasoning, the Attorney General's reasoning for continuing to push the lawsuit leading up to her initial, I'll resign on June 1st was, he was saying, I don't believe her. I don't think she's going to follow through with this. Then 2 weeks early, she comes in and says, all right, I'm out. What do you think changed?
Well, I think she'd been, apparently her attorneys were really trying to avoid having to turn over a lot of the discovery documents that Andrew Bailey was asking for. And I think she kind of hoped that he would back off once she announced that she would resign. And it was pretty clear that that wasn't going to happen. Apparently, he had requested a number of documents because he truly believed she wasn't potentially going to resign. She fooled the Missouri Senate, right? In my opinion, part of her negotiation was, I'll resign as long as you don't pass the law that would allow a replacement, a special prosecutor to be appointed to basically take over my duties. And of course, the Senate, from as far as we know, as part of some sort of behind the scenes negotiation with the minority party, they agreed. They basically dropped that bill that would have taken control of the St. Louis police back and given them that opportunity, or the governor the opportunity to appoint a special prosecutor. So I think Bailey sensed there was a chance she might change her mind. He kept the pressure on wisely. And I don't know what the trigger was today, but I do know that there's been a lot of talk in the last month or two about the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office merging with the city prosecutor's office. And if you look at how she worded that resignation letter today, it basically says Wesley Bell's office is going to step in and take over.
So what do you think about the next steps here? Of course, when I look at Chicago, it's a different role, it's a different situation, but the outcome could essentially be the same. Chicago goes, Lori Lightfoot, we're done with that. We don't want any more Lori Lightfoot. Brandon Johnson, instead, the here hold my Miller Lite beer of mayors in the city of Chicago, they're doubling down on that with which they ousted with Mayor Lori Lightfoot. You get rid of Kim Gardner as a circuit attorney here in St. Louis, but there's no guarantee that, when this next election happens, that they don't go even further.
It's possible, Annie, that maybe the left has a little wake up from this. I could be wrong, but I don't think even the progressives in the city were happy with what Kim Gardner did in that office. I don't think they were unhappy with her approach to criminal justice, but nobody was getting justice. And it's possible that they could exert that influence in the next primary to make sure that at least whoever runs the next time has a little bit of competence behind them. I mean, what we saw in this circuit attorney's office was sheer incompetence. According to Andrew Bailey's own court documents, 9,000 criminal cases were dropped by the circuit attorney's office during her time in office, and another 2,700 were thrown out by the court. I mean, that's those aren't all murder cases, but that's a significant failure in leadership. Mm. I think they liked what she did, trying to go back and get old convictions overturned and things like that. But you can't stop minding the ship just because you're trying to turn over cases from 15 or 20 years ago. So maybe the progressives, Megan Green and Tashara Jones and some of the others, will try to take a hand in whoever they're at least capable of running it before they throw their hat in the ring.
We're speaking with Mark Cox of the Mark Cox Morning Show right here on 97.1 FM Talk. I can confidently say that we have wall to wall with Mark in the morning and Mark in the afternoon, the best local coverage on all of these issues. This certainly piqued my interest over in Illinois, but you guys have both of the Marks on this station have been covering this from the get-go. And we've all talked to Andrew Bailey on our shows. And I would love to know what your thoughts are. The persistence, which you've highlighted here several times, that Andrew Bailey has had in pursuing this lawsuit, this quo warranto against Kim Gardner, seems to me like if he would have ever left his foot off the pedal a little bit, that she would have absolutely taken advantage of that. What do you think about the appointed, not elected Attorney General of the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey?
I think he's a rock star. I mean, I think that he's out of central casting. To be honest with you, I haven't really seen anybody else quite like him on the political scene in Missouri. Maybe since Josh Hawley, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Josh Hawley wasn't a politician. He was a professor at the University of Missouri School of Law. And when he became a politician, it's like a light switch flipped, and he was suddenly just very good and very smooth at effectively communicating and tackling big issues and all of that stuff. Andrew Bailey has very much impressed me since he was appointed, and kind of seemed to come out of nowhere. And I know he had a lot of experience. I've listened to him speak. He's a energetic, engaging speaker when he's on the stand. He's got a long political success story, in my opinion, ahead of him if he continues down this path. I know the guy that's running against him, Will Sharp, for Attorney General, but if he keeps this pace up, particularly with the incumbency, I think that's going to be a really tight race. Sharp has a lot of money behind him, but Andrew Bailey has really kind of taken the bull by the horns here.
Yeah, we've had Will Sharp on the show. We were a fan of his as well. And I'm always interested, from sitting on the other side of the river, at all of the amazing candidates that Missouri has on the Republican conservative side of the aisle. I mean, if I feel like we're, of course, sitting here in the epicenter of the Kim Gardner rudderless ship of chaos, if you will. And I think about your big elections coming up. Illinois just elected a governor again. We don't talk about it, but Missouri, those elections are coming up along with the general. Do you think Andrew Bailey is where he wants to be in the attorney general position, or does he potentially get some sniff of the wind and say, maybe I'll throw my hat in for governor? Or is that too big and too broad right now?
I think he could. I mean, I don't know that either of the Senate positions are going to open up anytime soon. That would be the next big prize. But I wouldn't think it would be in this cycle. So it's probably 4 years down the road. He's young enough that's not going to be an issue. I will say, Annie, I think the other danger here that we have to look at, and I kind of mentioned it a minute ago, Better Together, the merger of the city and county, failed beautifully a year and a half ago. Right. It just fell apart, and I couldn't be happier about that. But I'll say this attempt to merge the city and county prosecutor's office, I believe, is a first step to move back in that direction. And I think we need to be cautious about that, because all St. Louis County is doing is inheriting a whole bunch of problems it doesn't need. And all that's going to result in is much bigger government. And I think it's kind of dangerous myself. I really hope they don't do that. I talked to, believe it or not, Sam Page about a week ago in our kitchen area. I was sitting out there during a commercial break, and he walked in to do a interview down the hallway on KMOX.
You're talking about our radio station kitchen, not your kitchen. I just need to know what kind of relationship you have with Sam Page.
You're right.
Massive breaking news on the Annie Frey Show here.
During a commercial break in my show, I walked out to the kitchen area at the radio station. Sam Page is out there, right? He walks in while I'm sitting there, which was a little awkward at first. And he said, "What are you talking about today, Mark?" And I said, "Well, not you, Sam, but what do you think about the Kim Gardner situation? What do you think about Wesley Bell and a merger with the city?" And he said, "Well, that's something that I know they're talking about, but that would require a vote of the people." Well, so did Better Together. And I really, because Sam Page was all in for that merger with the city, and I just kind of see it as a money grab. I think the city needs to straighten out its own affairs before they start trying to merge with anyone.
Well, Mark Cox on with us right now. You've been the face of news for St. Louis. You are the voice of news for St. Louis. And so you have been on this for a long time. St. Louis is an amazing city, perfectly situated, north, south, east to west. St. Louis sits here, and there's so much potential, and the crime that is plaguing this city keeps people on my side of the river. I mean, it's like you don't go to St. Louis. They are afraid to go to St. Louis. And here we sit with all of this potential and all of these amazing assets that the city has to share with people who want to work here, live here, or tour here. what can you suggest would be the biggest benefit that the mayor could do, that the legislature, the governor, who can do what to get this city back on track?
Well, it starts with, if it's the crime problem, letting the police chief do his job and giving him enough officers to do it. I mean, look at the problem at Keener Plaza and all the teenagers running wild this weekend. They want to blame the problem on short-term apartment rentals downtown. How about having the 200 officers we're down right now, or probably more than that, back on the street in uniform? And how about having a prosecutor's office where they don't have 50 or 60 of them on a blacklist, where they're not allowed to even submit cases to her office? I mean, we've taken the first step by getting rid of Kim Gardner. They need to make sure they don't replace her with another Kim Gardner, and you actually start processing the backlog of criminal cases. Because if I'm a criminal, I think I've got an open invitation to do whatever I want in St. Louis right now, because the odds are I'm not going to get in trouble for it. I'm no different than your 3-year-old who's going to get away with whatever you allow him to get away with. There are no consequences to actions in the city of St. Louis these days. And if you don't fix that problem, no company is going to want to relocate here. Yeah. They just won't. I mean, people might still go to the City SC game. They may still go to the Cardinal game if they can park close to the stadium where there's enough people around that they feel safe. But I'll tell you what, I will no longer park at our radio station and walk to a night game for the Cardinals. There's not a chance.
Yeah. I was carjacked at 4:15 in the afternoon, 2 blocks south of the stadium 10 years ago, when a day game had just gotten let out, and it's only gotten worse since then. It's pretty amazing. Sure. So before we let you go, this big news coming out right before the show started, that Kim Gardner, the circuit attorney for St. Louis, has resigned effective immediately. You're saying you think that this is a huge, at least, opportunity for the city to get back on the right track.
It is, if it's handled properly. And I read that the governor was negotiating with Tashara Jones and some faith leaders on some potential replacements. I just hope Mike Parson holds his ground and makes sure that whoever gets put in there is not a political choice. It's got to be a competency choice, and not just somebody who at one point, happened to be popular with the people of St. Louis. It's got to be someone who can get in there and make hard choices and prosecute criminals, and not just give justice to criminals, because that seems to be what Kim Gardner's been doing. That's a huge step.
His consultation with the mayor and those faith leaders is a courtesy, as I understand it, correct?
Well, I think so, but he did promise if she stepped away that he would give them input.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I hope in his other ear, and I asked him this on my show last week, and he didn't really answer directly. I said, are you also consulting with Andrew Bailey, who used to work for you? Because he and Bailey are pretty close, and he appointed him. So I'm hoping Andrew Bailey is having much more input on who this choice is than Tashara Jones.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, Mark, thank you for giving us all of that insight. And as this story continues, we'll probably tap back into you and let you get I'm just glad that you got this off your chest a little bit before tomorrow. When people tune in from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk, they're going to get the full load. And we appreciate you coming on with us this afternoon.
You bet, Annie. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you tonight at the Helbig event, Thomas Helbig's Retirement Advisor Group event tonight. Mark and I will both be there, along with Mark Reardon, who has a show ready to cover all of this breaking news as well. You said he has
Brad Young
on. I think, did I see 5:25 p.m.?
5:25.
Okay. Well, they're going to be covering this too. Wall to wall, 97.1 FM Talk. We're going to be in and out of all of the news that is important to you. And certainly Mark taking you to work, taking you home from work on this story better than anybody else in the city. We're glad to be able to feature them here. We're going to take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show around the corner. Have I mentioned the YouTube live chat poll today? I have not. If Joe Manchin runs for the presidency of the United States, would it be as a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent? Would love to know what you think. Go vote in the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. We'll be back in just a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
There is
There's protection and there's peace the same. Burning your ticket for that long black train.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The Mark Reardon Show.
Paul Morrow, he's the founder of the OpsDesk.org. What was your reaction to the Durham case?
Well, I haven't gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, but it does appear to be a disappointment when you consider how long we waited for it.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Whiskey need highest floor of the Bowery, and I was high enough. Somewhere along the lines, we stopped seeing eye to eye. You were staying out all night, and I had enough. No, I don't wanna know where you've been or where you're going, but I know I won't be home, and you'll be on your own. Who's gonna walk you through the dark side of the morning? Who's gonna rock you when the sun won't let you sleep? Who's waking up to drive you home when you're trying to get out alone? Who's gonna walk you through the dark side of the morning?
Eric, I'll tell you one thing. This is the very reason that anyone who loves this country and doesn't want to see us turn into a full-blown Banana Republic needs to back one man in 2024, and that is Donald J. Trump, because my father-in-law has been very clear about his plans for a second term in the White House. He is going to clean house in Washington, D.C. The career bureaucrats are gone. There's going to be term limits for the career politicians in Washington, D.C. He's not anymore going to allow people to use their insider knowledge to enrich themselves on the stock market in Washington, D.C. And that is just the beginning.
When Laura Trump said not allowed to use their insider knowledge, I thought she was going to say inside voice, which just kind of articulates where I come from outside of this show. Laura Trump obviously advocating for Donald Trump to be the nominee. And boy, have we learned in the last 24 hours things that we probably here on the show already knew. The motivations for why he would get into the White House and clean house. Sunny Hostin, who we were all wondering what was thinking about anything. No? Okay. Anywho.
I was wondering.
I'm going to be honest. I had to Google which one she was.
I still don't know. I know she's on The View.
She's this one.
Still don't know who she is.
Okay. Anyway, what does she think about the Republican nominee?
But I will say what scares me about Ron DeSantis is that he offers Trumpism without Trump. So those people that are so repelled by Donald Trump, and there are many people, won't be as repelled by him, I think. And those manufactured culture issues seem to be very effective with that base, that particular base, and part of the Republican Party as well, definitely the right-wing part. But I think that he can be effective. And let's remember, he's a lawyer. He's Harvard and Yale trained and educated. He's not a stupid man. So he is really leaning into Trumpism, knowing what the base wants.
So Sunny Hostin basically says that Ron DeSantis is the less repulsive Donald Trump.
I love the term manufactured social issues in there. That's not just her saying that.
So
Barack Obama used to say that.
So you have Ron DeSantis is expected to announce in a couple of weeks, possibly he's making his way back up to New Hampshire. We'll wait and see what happens. Tim Scott's supposed to be getting in the race. Mike Pence is supposed to be getting in the race. It's about to get rowdy, folks. And the real question is going to be, how big is Donald Trump, the ultra MAGA base? Really? Because I think that MAGA is more than Trump. I think ultra MAGA is Trump.
Okay.
Take it or leave it.
Interesting delineation there.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I think that's spot on, actually.
I think that you can say that you're a Make America Great Again / America First voter, and you just want that to happen. It's not just about vindication for Donald Trump.
It is his movement, though, right?
Yes and no. Ronald Reagan said it before Donald Trump did.
Okay. But in modern times,
I think JFK said it once.
He has changed the political dynamic.
Well, he's changed the dynamic, but to say it's his movement, it's his idea, he's just latched himself onto an idea that was already the undercurrent of American society.
He named it, though. He identified it. He named it. He ran on it.
Yes.
He led that way. I mean, as the president of the United States, nobody talks about it because we're talking about all this BS Durham report stuff that we now know once again, along with there's a lot of similarities with the Horowitz IG report, but there are also many distinctions that are key, which we could get into in detail. And we did with Greg Jarrett at 12:25, really worth the rewind on the Odyssey app. If you follow 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app or the Annie Frey Show. But the idea that Donald Trump is to be vindicated. You don't have to be ultra MAGA to see why Donald Trump would feel that way. You don't even have to agree with him, I don't think, in policy. If you are objective enough and not so blinded by your disgust and hatred for the orange man, you have to look at what was discovered. The preference, the very, very jaded preference that was put in investigating Donald Trump because someone suggested something based on rumor that was paid for by the Hillary Clinton. Yes, Hillary Clinton paid for it. It is not Republican opposition research. Dig deeper if you're still peddling that lie. If you know what the investigative bureaucracy did to Donald Trump and elected not to do to Hillary Clinton, and you're still like, but Donald Trump is just the worst thing ever. That's un-American. Go away. So I think that, man, you say something, I'm about to say something that people are going to like fall off their chair. Some people are. If Donald Trump wins the nomination, Donald Trump definitely has my vote against whomever the Democrat nominee is. If Donald Trump doesn't win the nomination, I actually think that on the whole, it would be largely more effective to restoring the heart and soul of this country that has been torn apart by the leftist ideologues who have infiltrated the bureaucracies and the media in this country. If somebody else goes in and does the business of Donald Trump on behalf of the country, because it's too small to just do it on behalf of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump said it, and he's spot on. They're not after him. They're after us. He's just standing in the way. He took bullets for the America First agenda, for people who did want to make America great again. And they feel like the greatness that was taken away from America, and especially the Obama years, and the way that it was restored through economic opportunity, through minority opportunity, the things that Donald Trump was able to do in his presidency to make America great again, just as a sentence, not as a slogan, are documented. And what they did to him, which is also documented, it has to be, in some respect in my mind, bigger than just Donald Trump getting the last laugh. Maybe it's Congress. Maybe it's a different person who's the president. But I just think it's not a knock on Donald Trump. People are going to hear me say things and they're going to get bent out of shape. But this is what I think. I actually don't know if he can fully exonerate himself in that instance when he goes in, if he wins the nomination and wins the presidency, and because it will only look vengeful on behalf of Donald Trump. This Durham report is showing what the FBI and the media did to the country. It's bigger than Trump.
What I hear you saying is that this whole movement, it kind of exists, and Trump kind of latched onto it. That it existed even outside of him. He may have named it.
He named it,
but
he saw it.
It existed.
He saw these people.
And he took the opportunity, and that's why he won. It's why he's a big figure. But that the movement can exist either with Trump or without Trump, because the movement is bigger than Trump. Correct?
It has to be.
It has to be.
It always was. He tapped into that. He had some very, very intelligent political consultants around him, but he saw that the American people are the epicenter of this country and its success, and that was being diminished by the big government, Democrats and Republicans, who were more interested in sustaining the capital S swamp, the bureaucracy, the status quo from administration to administration, from Congress to Congress, that there are just some things that are, period. And he was willing to go and pull the weeds, and he made a bunch of people mad doing that. And they went after him. And we were never supposed to know. I can't stress enough how important it is that somehow he pulled off a victory in 2016. And you know, when people talk about the Donald Trump victory in 2016, it was a massive victory. It was shocking. It shocked the world. But if you look at the numbers, it was still close. He was not supposed to win. And if he wouldn't have won, if Hillary Clinton would have been the president, how much would we have never known about, and what would have been accomplished in that amount of time when Hillary Clinton was the president that we would have never known about?
How many Americans right now, because CNN's reporting the Durham report, CBS was reporting the Durham report. These are mainstream organizations that are finally admitting what Donald Trump was saying the whole time, which is, to use his words, it's a hoax. How many Americans are realizing that right now for the first time?
I don't think that they will. It's evident that the Durham report isn't doing that for people.
I hate to hear that.
No, I mean, like you've said about this show, when things get talked about and put out there, it becomes canon. I think that the deed is done, which goes back to my point. The rectifying of this, almost in my mind, to be fully impactful the way it needs to be on the scale that it needs to be, it has to be bigger than Donald Trump. I don't know. You agree?
It definitely has to be bigger than Donald Trump. It has to be, like you were saying, if Donald Trump goes in there and he does it and he removes it, that is a positive no matter what. But it looks like Donald Trump getting revenge, and it doesn't look like
and that plays
vindication.
that plays into the whole thing that they've created. I will say this until I'm blue in the face, but Donald Trump has every right to be as mad and as vengeful and vindictive and hateful on a human level towards the system that did everything they could to destroy him. No human being on the face of the planet could take the shots that Donald Trump has had to take and come out of it. And should you expect to be like, he should really rise above what we want Donald Trump to do? I don't believe, for the country and the presidency, I don't know a human being who can, air quotes, rise above the way Donald Trump would need to rise above to expand the tent, to broaden his base, because they have screwed him over so hard, so consistently, so arrogantly, that it is beyond human expectation for a person to take the shots that he's taken and show up and rise above. I get it. Like that's the biggest conflict that I have internally about the Republican primary coming up and then the presidency. Is that what I need Donald Trump to do so that he can win, so that he can defeat Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama? What I need him to do, because none of this matters if he doesn't win again. None of it matters. Nothing is going to happen until a Republican gets back in the Oval Office. If he can't win, none of this matters. And the cause is not helped if we nominate him knowing he'll lose. He has to do what he needs to do, and it's up to him to do it so that he can win. But what a tall order to ask a man who has been badgered and slandered and lied about and defamed and backstabbed. How do you ask a guy to do that? I just don't know how a man could pull that off.
Yeah. It's asking a lot. I do think all the narrative that would happen if let's say he wins and he goes in and cleans house, the narrative will be that he's being vindictive and he's doing this personally.
The cries of fascism will never stop.
You're right. And that is something that, man, it would be great to avoid. However, flip side of the coin, just like you're saying, there's two sides to all this. I would love to see him get in there because he knows how deep it is. He's already had it. He knows the names. He knows the people. He knows how to get rid of it. Could somebody else do it? I think they could, but he definitely would know how to do it.
If he knew how to do it and he cared more about restoring the country than he cared about himself, regardless of if he wins or not, he would help.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wouldn't help, that's on him.
Then you know it's about him. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. What would stop him from advising the next president?
I'd love to see that too.
Where these spots are.
If it's not
you got to
him,
watch out for this one. You got to watch out for this one. This one right here is doing this sort of thing. You got to get rid of this one. He could change it and not even have to be president.
Well, let's suggest that Donald Trump gets the nomination for the Republican Party. Will somebody challenge Joe Biden? Will there be another challenger that gets in the race other than the ones that I mentioned for the Republican Party that we expect to get in maybe by the end of May. Will there be any viable independent candidates that get in and throw a wrench in the whole thing? We're going to talk about that when we come back. And if you want to scoop us on it, go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and check out the YouTube live chat poll. I'll read that for you when we come back. If you want to get a heads up on me, Annie Frey YouTube channel in the live chat, go vote, comment. We'll be back in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
I had a dream, we were back to 17, summer nights and the libertines, never growing up.
So cajonesinc.com is the website. And when you look on cajonesinc.com, you're quickly going to see their inventory that they have available right now. If you're looking to buy a home and you haven't found the one that is just right for you, what about a new build that's already done? cajonesinc.com. On the Illinois side of the river, these are beautiful homes that boast wonderful energy efficiency. It's very important to CA Jones, and they have so many different ways that they are working to make your home build energy efficient. It's going to save you on your power bills down the line. They also provide a 10-year builder limited warranty that includes a lifetime waterproof basement warranty. Plus, on cajonesinc.com, they have the largest inventory of new construction homes for sale right now. Partner with a home builder on the Illinois side of the river that is constructing these houses in neighborhoods all across the Illinois side, but they're also investing in the communities as well that they're building in. They are great sponsors and supporters of our veterans, of first responders, and they have great specials on new homes, solar, and remodels that you can check out as well for veterans alike. Go online to cajonesinc.com.
The wait is over. Golden Oak Lending announces that we have dropped our mortgage rates to the lowest they've been all year.
If you've thought about purchasing a home or getting cash out to wipe out debt, you can now benefit from Golden Oak's low 5.25% rate.
Credit card rates are at an all-time high. Don't pay over 25% in interest.
Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, join my blues.
NMLS 114937, 5.25% fixed, 5.928% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com. Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for their next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you can afford to retire? Or do you worry about surviving the next market crash? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free and protect your nest egg from many more losses and provide more income than most investment options? Would you like to know how linking to the market instead of owning the market is so much safer for your retirement savings? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, May 16th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hey, if you missed the interview with Greg Jarrett at 12:25, rewind on the Odyssey app and find out everything that's going on with all things Durham. I mean, it was an intense interview and very, very good. I highly suggest you hear that either right now or later today. The time right now is 1:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
Conservative solutions, objective conclusions. For news and opinion, this is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
I promise that you'll never find another like me. I know that I'm a handful, baby. I know I never think before I jump. And you're the kind of guy the ladies want. And there's a lot of cool chicks out there. I know that I went psycho on the phone. I never leave well enough alone. And trouble's gonna follow where I go. And there's a lot of cool chicks out there.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Like a rainbow with all of the colors.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
That you'll never find another like me. I'm the only one of me. Baby, that's
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being with us here on this Tuesday afternoon. So the YouTube live chat poll today, we just got done talking about Donald Trump, the wake of the Durham report, really exonerating him in a pretty incredible way that okay, I'll play this clip because there has to be some teeth behind this one, especially if you were to juxtapose Jake Tapper's reaction to the town hall meeting. When the town hall got over, folks, he's sitting at his desk and he looked like he had it was like he had just gotten out of bed. His hair was all disheveled. He had popcorn in his hair. He looked like he had just gotten out of the fight. He was like, "What have we experienced here?" It was very, very dramatic. This is what he said about the Durham report.
Regardless, the report is now here. It has dropped, and it might not have produced everything of what some Republicans hoped for. It is, regardless, devastating to the FBI, and to a degree, it does exonerate Donald Trump.
So it does exonerate Donald Trump to a degree. I'll take it.
Yeah, you just got to put that in there.
You got to put the Jake Tapper, multiplier in there, and you're like, whoa!
That's a solid W from Jake Tapper.
Yeah, a dub in the Trump column. But very damning to the FBI as well, which is really what the big story is here, and is what Donald Trump has said over and over again. Right now, it looks like Donald Trump is going to win the Republican nomination. Right now, Joe Biden, the incumbent Democrat president, is likely going to win the Democrat nomination. What happens if Joe Manchin decides to get into the race? And you might say, Annie, why? What Joe Manchin in the race? Why? Well, we had Joe Concha on the show yesterday from now The Messenger, which is a new news outlet that we are enjoying. They have people from all different thoughts and opinions. Juan Williams on there, of course, Joe Concha, our friend of the show. But there is an article on here from just less than a day ago, and it's from Joe Manchin. Ask Joe Manchin about his future, and he'll sharply tell you how frustrated he is with politics in Washington, how it's impossible to strike bipartisan deals without getting attacked, how Democrats don't care about national debt or energy security, and Republicans don't have enough compassion on social issues. But try to nail the West Virginia senator down on whether his flirtation with a presidential run is a real thing, and he becomes a little more expansive. Quote, first of all, how can you see how divided the country is? People are upset with both President Biden for not bringing the country together and also with Donald Trump for being a tremendous divider. When you look at that, people are just naturally saying, is there something else? Is there something better? Today's YouTube live chat poll is, if Joe Manchin ran for the presidency, would it be as a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent? What do you think?
Independent. And I'll tell you why. They've already said they're not going to do Democrat debates. And I think that would have been his big mark he could have made. Mm-hmm. And without those, I think he would have to run as an independent to make any sort of waves.
I think he would have to run as an independent as well, because the kind of Democrat that Joe Manchin exists with one person and one person only, and that is Joe Manchin. That Democrat does not exist in his party. He could not put together a coalition to overthrow Biden, even if Biden wasn't the incumbent. That person doesn't exist, and there are people on the left and on the right looking for somebody like Joe Manchin, and he would have to run as an independent. So I think that's what he would do.
Where do you have to start your thought process? It's always where the money is. There's no way that Joe Manchin can be a functional politician from West Virginia and a Republican. He does not have the voting record to be able to sustain the dollars from truly Republican-based PACs and political interests. He can't do it. And if you look at where Democrat money is going to go, he's against their energy policy. So in a lot of different ways, Democrats might see an opportunity to invest in a more climate changey, energy friendly, according to the Democrat plan. And they might look at a candidate on the Democrat side, if you were, as far as maybe his Senate race goes, and they might consider investing in someone else. But the truth is, you need the Democrat that you can win in West Virginia. In the state of Illinois, everyone gets bent out of shape because the person running for Republican in the state of Illinois for a Senate seat is not Republican and conservative enough. Guess what? You need a Republican who can win that seat, who will vote Republican like you some of the time. Otherwise, you have Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth. So West Virginia understands that as well. Joe Manchin is the Democrat that can win in West Virginia, and that is incredibly valuable. But if he wants to run for the presidency and legitimately have a shot at winning the presidency, I can think of no better race than Joe Manchin running as an independent against Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That could be how we have our first non-Democrat Republican two-party system presidency. And I actually think he might have, hear what I'm saying here, I think that Joe Manchin might have a better shot at winning the presidency as an independent than he has the Democrat seat in the Senate for West Virginia this next election cycle.
Wow.
Oh, she's on. You're right. The Democrats are going to run somebody far to the left of Manchin against him, and they're going to put a bunch of money behind him.
And West Virginia voters are Republicans.
Right. And they're going to vote for the Republican candidate at that point.
They're heavily Republican. That is a state that I think Trump won by something like 40 points.
Yeah. He got like 80% of the vote.
Yeah. Yeah. And their governor, the West Virginia governor, who's very popular, they're Republican, is running against Manchin in West Virginia now. So, yeah, the writing's on the wall. It would be something. It would be the first time since Ross Perot that you had a viable third-party candidate.
That's more viable than Ross Perot.
Ooh.
That's the kind of election that would be sent to the House to decide, because nobody would get a majority.
I can't wait for Trump to litigate that one. And I can't wait for Joe Biden to try to understand it. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
I never want to see you walk away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
These things is not like the others. Living in winter, I am your summer. Every time when it comes to
Mark Cox here. Have you noticed that for sale signs in your neighborhood have been up longer than normal? Why? They don't have my good friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. That's why I only recommend you call Gloria Liu. I've been telling you about her for years now. Call Gloria before you list your home. Gloria has the buyers with over 2,400 exclusive buyers in her database looking for a home in your neighborhood. Gloria sells twice as fast and for 5% more money on average when compared with other agents. With Gloria, you sell faster and for more money. She'll guarantee upfront in writing to sell your home at your price and your time frame, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
So Air Comfort Service is, they have a great deal right now, and I don't want you to miss out on it. So I'm going to stress that this is only available through May 26th. A huge opportunity to save on a hybrid HVAC system bundle. $7,500 in manufacturer and utility rebates and tax credits on that hybrid HVAC system. When you bundle your new hybrid system with an attic installation, you're going to get to save an additional 20%. Hybrid systems are one of the most energy efficient and quietest systems that you can have. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. And when you have a really great functioning HVAC system, but the house isn't insulated great, you're still not maximizing your energy efficiency. Air Comfort Service can help you through this whole process. It's good through May 26th. So get on the phone right now, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. Tell them Andy Frey sent you. They'll be happy to hear from you online at aircomfortservice.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Preparing for debt ceiling talks. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The 4 top congressional leaders are set to meet with President Biden at the White House this afternoon for more talks on raising the nation's borrowing limit.
Both the White House and House Republicans still appear to be deadlocked over reaching a deal to raise the debt limit. The president is getting ready to head out of the country. He's going to be heading to Asia, we think, within a matter of hours. But before he does so, he will be sitting down with congressional leaders from both parties. In the room this afternoon, you're going to have the president sit down with Speaker McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, both Senate leaders Schumer and McConnell, as well as the vice president. But make no mistake about it, this battle really rests with the speaker and the president. Speaker McCarthy urging the White House to accept a deal to impose spending caps potentially over the next decade.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen again warning that if the borrowing limit is not increased, the country could default on its debt within 2 weeks.
The U.S. economy hangs in the balance. The livelihoods of millions of Americans do too.
Republicans want federal spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt limit for a year. The president and congressional Democrats call for a clean debt ceiling increase, arguing Republicans raised the debt limit 3 times under former President Donald Trump without attaching any spending cuts. Russia is claiming it destroyed a Patriot missile system donated to Ukraine by the U.S.
Russia's defense ministry says it used a hypersonic Kinzhal missile to take out the Patriot system last night. Ukraine, though, says it shot down 18 Russian missiles, including 6 Kinzhals.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The Farmington, New Mexico police chief says it appears an 18-year-old man who shot and killed 3 people and wounded 6 others yesterday fired at random as he roamed a neighborhood. He was killed shortly after officers responded to reports of shots being fired. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The internet can be an all-you-can-eat buffet for identity thieves.
So full.
Too many maiden names.
And social security numbers.
Where'd you find those?
By the password bar. Can't miss them.
LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss by monitoring your credit and bank statements. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Cool times around town on this Tuesday afternoon. Our high should be about 68 degrees below average. Most of the rain is now gone. Clouds, though, will dominate. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, 55 for the overnight low. 2 fantastic days on the way for Wednesday and Thursday. Sunny skies, lower humidity, nice temperatures, 77 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is an Illinois Family Institute, IllinoisFamily.org update. Pro-life pregnancy care centers under legislative attack, a push to legalize euthanasia and co-ed bathrooms in Illinois. And before the General Assembly adjourns, lawmakers could take action to place a pro-abortion state constitutional amendment on the 2024 ballot. IFI's David Curtin says voters should voice their opposition to state lawmakers.
All of these have to do with usurping the role of God in our society. If they can just be faithful and tell their lawmakers that, that's the best thing they can do. Will we be successful? I don't know, but we will be faithful, and that's what we should do. But you still need to register your disapproval with your legislator.
Pray for our lawmakers and sign up for IFI email alerts at IllinoisFamily.org.
You can't work, you can't play if your ankle is busted, but you also need to figure out how to manage everything going on in your life that you need to show up for and still be active to be healthy. That's why I use Prevent Sprain socks. My daughter wore them on Saturday for her YMCA volleyball game, and I really like that she has that support because we can't be on the couch, not being able to participate in regular activities. I'm a working person. I need to be at work. I need to be taking care of the kids. I have to be in the game. If you're somebody who walks, runs, plays pickleball, if you are an athlete, if you have a kid or grandkid that is an athlete, I want you to learn about Prevent Sprain socks and how they can help keep you in the game. They are the only sock that is patented and tested for complete ankle support and stability. They increase blood flow, which in turn lessens muscle and ankle fatigue. I have experienced this myself. The recovery time is so much better when I'm wearing my Prevent Sprain socks. Reports indicate 50% less recovery time. If you're interested in purchasing these, especially the golf socks, which you can get online as well, go to PreventSprainSocks.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle. That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
Make sure your family is well taken care of with life insurance. Protect your phones, laptops, and more with electronic device insurance. And cover your furry friends with pet health insurance.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back. It's 2:07. We're glad you're here with us on the Annie Frey Show. The YouTube live chat poll for today is Joe Manchin running, if he is running for president, would it be as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? I can't wait to hear what some of your comments and feedback are for this specific poll and where your vote goes. I wonder how many people would suggest he'd run as a Republican. Joe Manchin is not a Republican. He's not even a 2023 Republican, if we even know what that is. What would you say is the predominant factor in being a 2023 Republican, Brad?
Oh, boy. I think that there's two 2023 Republicans. You're either one or the other.
Okay.
So I think you're either like the Lindsey Graham or the Nikki Haley type, or you're the Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump type.
What? In the same category?
Same category.
Mm.
So you've got your traditional, we do it this way with decorum and whatever. And then you've got the Ron DeSantis kind where it's like, let's just get this done, scoreboard. It's more important about winning the battles than it is about coming across as electable or whatever.
You put DeSantis and Trump in the same category for that?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I don't. What do you think?
I would too. Yeah. I would put all of those Republicans that you're talking about, the Haleys, the Mike Pences. He even said today, I'm running as a Reagan Republican. Now, that doesn't mean that the America First Republicans are against Reaganism.
No.
It just means that you have that category of Republican that still exists, but is not doing very well. So I would say that I would actually get rid of that whole category and say that category is the past. There's still people hanging on.
Yes.
But the future and the now of the Republican Party is people willing to use government in ways that conservatives hadn't in the past, because they say, you know what? I don't necessarily like that we have to do this, but we have to do this.
It sounds like
or
it's
we're
not
gonna lose.
what the policies are. It's how you're willing to fight for them.
Yes, it's very much that.
So go vote. I'm excited to hear what the results of this poll were. In fact, I had a different poll up and I was like, nope, wait, scratch that one. Got a better one. So we want to hear what you think about that. You guys know what woke fishing is?
I do not. I just actually saw and heard that term for the first time today, and I have no
From
idea.
where?
One of my friends online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just commented woke fishing with capital.
Is it because I put it in the YouTube chat or a
Probably.
YouTube title? You know what woke fishing is?
Never heard the term.
Well, Forbes is talking about it.
Oh, well, then I should have known about
Forbes is talking about it.
I should have opened it with my coffee.
3 dead giveaways. You're dealing with a woke fisher, according to a psychologist.
Okay.
Social awareness and progressivism have become increasingly important for many people, especially when it comes to dating and relationships. I'm so glad I don't have to date.
Oh, no joke.
Unfortunately, some choose to exploit this trend by pretending to be more socially conscious and woke than they actually are in a bid to attract partners.
Oh, you mean it's popular?
This is known as woke fishing. Anheuser-Busch, pull up a chair. They seem to agree with you on every aspect of every issue you are passionate about. Sign number 1.
Depending on how good looking you are.
What you want to look for in a romantic partner is compatibility that is not overly dependent on agreement. How long have you been married?
15 years?
Brad? 5-year anniversary?
Yeah. No.
How long
I
you
can't
guys
do the
been
math.
together?
15.
15.
15, 16.
What year did you get married?
Copier.
2008.
2008?
Yeah, I can't do the math.
15 years this year.
Okay. Yeah.
When's your anniversary?
31st.
Of this year?
Of this month.
Of this month.
Of this month, a couple weeks away.
It's the 31st of 2023. Sounds like something a man would
So back
say.
in January.
But no, I said it. Okay, 15 years coming up. And you're 15 years. Are you a September or August?
August.
Your birthday's in September.
Yep.
So my husband and I will be 16 years in September. Didn't you get married in 2007?
Mm-hmm.
So we
just
got
a month before you.
Yeah, different people.
Different people.
Yeah.
We didn't even know each other then.
Lots of jokes. How much do you and your wife agree? Just on a day-to-day.
85%.
85% of the things. How volatile is the 15%?
Not very.
Do you give in?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's
But
how
so
you
does
stay
she.
married for 16 years.
So does she, though.
Who gives
we,
in first?
we meet in the middle.
Do you?
Yeah.
The Bible says better a quiet rooftop than a quarrelsome wife.
And I agree with that. And how about you, Annie?
What?
What percentage do you guys agree?
We agree on most things. We disagree rarely. But it could be volatile. And it's volatile because I'm volatile. He's not. What about you? How much do you agree?
I would say we're probably in the 90%. And then when we don't agree, it's not very volatile because I'm volatile and she's not. And so she would rather just not fight about it.
Is there anything that you guys that you can think of? And I'll continue on with this and you can we can circle back to this. but things that you aggressively disagree on that aren't like not prying in on super personal things to your marriage, but just things that you don't see eye to eye on. We'll get back to that here in a second. Number 2, signs that you are dealing with a woke fisher in your relationships or dating. They seem to only have a superficial understanding of the issues they claim to care about. Woke fishers may try to impress you with buzzwords or slogans without truly comprehending their meaning or only having a surface level understanding of complex issues such as systemic oppression or privilege. They may only engage in superficial activism, such as posting about social issues on social media or attending protests without actively participating in social justice efforts or contributing to meaningful change. Can you imagine being like, I got to fit in this protest on Thursday afternoon. I just want everyone to see me there and take a picture so I can social media brag about it. The third one is they are obsessed with their social media presence and are inconsistent with their opinions. Yet another sign that your potential partner is a woke fisher is if their social media looks like and reads like a documented account of what social cause was trending each week. While it's certainly possible that they are curious about every trending cause, it's unlikely that each cause resonated with them enough for them to take a stand publicly. If they seem to use their social media to overemphasize their social justice credentials, bleh. Try to ask them how the social causes they care about have evolved over the years and be curious about why they felt the need to take a stand on it. Can you imagine having that conversation?
I was just getting ready to say,
holy cow,
those people.
I want to be confronted by I want to go on a date with somebody else just so that I can be confronted with, how long have you been standing up for this cause? And what can you tell me about the history of it? I could punch him in the face and be like, never again.
I want to be at a table next to you whenever that question gets asked, because that will be amazing.
What is wrong with people?
Those people are fun to debate. They're fun to debate.
Those people are not fun in any way, shape, or form.
They are too.
They are awfully boring people.
They're a blast to debate because you can within maybe 60 seconds make them realize that they don't know what the heck they're doing.
They don't realize it though.
They don't care. Everything you're suggesting that you would do in a debate with them, none of it matters.
You would just, in 60 seconds, you would turn them into a ball of fury and rage.
You're right. No, Annie's right, because within 60 seconds, this person would just agree with you. They would just...
No, they wouldn't.
They would just fall down and go, you know what? You're right. And then they would just fall in line with whatever you were saying.
You're expecting some sort of cognitive processing to have been engaged in before they got to the table.
Yeah, well,
and then that it would continue with the conversation with you that would result in a new thought at the end. It's not happening.
That's what I'm saying, is that it's so paper thin that it would just transfer from whatever that thing was to whatever you were saying. Easy.
Right.
Easy dinner.
Ryan, you think you're talking to the woke fisher. You're actually talking to the woke person. This is a test put in place to weed out the woke fishers.
I am trying to follow that, and I'm having trouble.
So
that's what they're going to say on the date.
Yeah. The woke
ultimately
fisher,
what I think here is that you are an awful person and I would like to not date you.
That is what would happen if they had any sort of, if they believed in anything that they were saying, even shallowly, they would just chalk you up to being hateful. They would just, you're just a hateful person.
Is there an element to, we talk on the show regularly about what is woke, and people question if it even exists. And there's always a certain kind of person who questions, what is woke? It's like
I love that question.
You are woke. But is there an element of, in order to be woke, does it kind of somewhat have to be superficial? Is there a difference between people who are superficially invested in the virtue signaling world, that when you can separate those people from individuals who may have a really deep rooted attachment to a cause that maybe I disagree with, and I'm not marching for that cause, or maybe I have a diametrically opposed position on said issue. Is it right to say that wokeism is the superficial version of true, dedicated, honest activism? I'm just asking a question. I don't have a conclusion.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I could see that being the case, because wokeness is kind of the we've been using the word lately and seeing it more, social contagion. You know, it's the deeply rooted person who really believes in XYZ, and they just say it loud enough that the person who doesn't really care that much just kind of goes along with it. So yeah, I could see that.
I kind of feel like maybe that is a put the thumb on it and define it way of looking at woke, because agree or disagree, whichever you choose to do, there are people who are advocating for equal rights among men and women, equal rights among people of different skin colors, of different religions, of different socioeconomic classes, that have been doing it for a long time, that have come into it for a very honest reason. And if you were just to look on paper, if they were to write down what their goals were and compare it to a politically economic-based movement like Black Lives Matter, they'd have the same goals. They'd have the same purpose. But you could look at one of those people and go, I get it. I get what you're doing. Maybe I agree with the conclusion of what you're saying. Maybe I don't, but I see where you're coming from and I see why you're doing what you're doing. And you compare it to other people who have noticed people like that and commoditized it, sold it to people because it's a slogan or an acronym or a logo that they can put on their bumper sticker. They sell it to people. To me, that is woke.
Yeah, that's definitely there. But the more I think about this, the more I'm thinking, okay, how do I define woke? Which if somebody said, Wiggins, how do you define woke? I would say far left social issue progressivism is the way I would have said it. But even that, people who are really devoted to it and can maybe even debate it, I think even those people can only go so deep because they move so quickly with the wind of the time.
Well, and I'm going to say just personally in this conversation right now, maybe I'll change my mind later, but I'm actually going to separate those people that are far left progressive, however you just put it right now. To me, being woke is appropriating the virtue that is acquired, air quotes, I guess, from that kind of thinking and participatory activism. If you're woke, you just want the shine of that on you. And I do think that there's something different between and the whole, I mean, honestly, the whole reason why I wanted to read this article to you and talk to you about this from Forbes, 3 dead giveaways you're dealing with a woke fisher, according to a psychologist. I'll read them again. They seem to agree with you on every aspect of every issue you're passionate about. They seem to only have a superficial understanding of the issues they claim to care about. And thirdly, they are obsessed with their social media presence, and are inconsistent with their own opinions. That is the sin of Bud Light. That is the sin of Anheuser-Busch and that marketing executive who tried to fix the problematic brand that Bud Light had become in her eyes. They didn't buy into it. The whole world is looking at Bud Light now going, what the heck did you do? Why did you do this? And it's not because they really were coming out against transgenderism. They're just like, I just want to have beer. It's just about beer. It really all comes down to, why did you have to make this about more than beer? Is there no sacred, safe place? If there is, it should be beer. And when you see Bud Light or anybody doing what Bud Light just did, and you watch how the company Pontius piloted their hands away from Dylan Mulvaney. They never backed Dylan Mulvaney up, not even a minute did they come out and say, no, we stand behind Dylan Mulvaney. We sent this beer can with Dylan's face on it to Dylan because there was a celebration of her 365 days of girlhood, and Bud Light wanted to put their brand literally on a can next to Dylan Mulvaney's face. That was important to us. They did that because they wanted to reach Dylan Mulvaney's audience because they wanted to sell beer. And when anybody challenged them on it, it was just one can. It was just one influencer. It wasn't a campaign. They didn't even stand by the things that they were really to appropriate to their brand to try to sell beer. It's just about money. And all of these brands that are attaching themselves to these woke-minded campaigns are woke-fishing you. And Forbes is here to tell you that.
Sounds like we've created two categories, woke and woke fishers.
When you go on that date to try to convince the people who are woke that they're wrong, I too would like to be there.
Okay, I'll James O'Keefe it.
Okay, yeah. Now would be a good time to tell you that you're on camera.
I'll wear a big helmet and be like, "This is just what I wear." There's no camera in here.
The old VHS
I'm a coal
camera on
miner.
it.
Yeah.
What? You kids coal miners?
Man, let's take a quick break. Go vote on the YouTube live chat poll. If Joe Manchin ran for president, would it be as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? We need to know what you think. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote in the live chat portion. Also subscribe. We're inching towards 6,000 subscribers. I'm going to put up the counter for the rest of the show and see if we can fish out anyone. I don't care if you're woke or not. You can come join us. We'll love to have you. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
Looking at the promise of the promised land.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
One kid helps pay the rent. One could end up going to prison. One just might be president.
Saving money when you shop at Ruler Foods is as simple as getting a cart, putting the grocery goods in your cart, checking out, saving money. It's really that easy. Shop at Ruler Foods nearest you. Go online to rulerfoods.com. Type in your zip code. You're going to be surprised how many Ruler Foods are in the bi-state region. If you like to save your hard-earned money, I don't understand why you wouldn't have already gone to Ruler Foods. Make it part of your schedule this weekend just to go check them out. You don't even have to go, don't plan on doing your big grocery trip there. Just go see what Annie's talking about at the Ruler Foods nearest you. If you're looking to save on stuff to throw on the grill, how about the Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in 3-pound rolls? $3.33 a pound. Bar S bacon's delicious. 2 for $5. You can also get those additions to that grilling meal. The seedless watermelons or 18-ounce blueberries, $2.97 a pound. 8-ounce Kroger shredded or bar cheese, $3 for $5. Save at Ruler Foods. The Frey family does, and I think that you will find very quickly that you need to make a Ruler Foods trip part of your weekly schedule. Rulerfoods.com.
Cardinals baseball is in full swing.
Right center field, a grand slam for Nolan Gorman.
With the free Odyssey app, you can stream the team all summer long in your backyard, at the beach, or wherever you're listening.
And it's a gunner! An opposite field home run for Wilson Contreras.
Cardinals baseball. Cardinals announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? You may be thinking there's no way that something as simple as the Good Feet Store can help you.
My feet would just ache, my back, my ankles. I finally said, I'm going to do this. And I'll be darned if it didn't work. I feel a million times better than I ever did.
No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Good Feet arch supports fit in all your own shoes. Come to the Good Feet store for a free test walk today. You can try it before you buy it.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Have you always dreamed of a lush green lawn? Get that beautiful curb appeal without the hassle by calling Professional Irrigation Systems. They'll install your new automatic lawn sprinkler system and give you a variety of options and warranties. Don't spend half your day lugging a hose around watering your lawn. Let Professional Irrigation Systems do the work for you. They offer spring activations, backflow testing, mid-season tune-ups, and winterization. Call the pros that have been in business for 20 years. Professional Irrigation Systems. Online at proirrigation.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Time must we fall? Living in a long memory you just recall. Working on the sound of the band, trying to get the music right. To go out working, reach their home at night.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Did you guys watch the Cardinals game last night?
I watched it happening on my phone because it was like
what does that mean?
A stock ticker.
I saw somebody tweeted,
"Keep going up, baby!"
St. Louis Cardinals with a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it looked like a football score, but when you win 18-1, it's not a football score.
Not quite. No, you had to give the other team a couple more. Then it would have been close.
Do we win the division, Brad?
I'm still a no. They dug such a big deep hole that they're going to have to play at a level that I'm not sure that they're capable of playing at to get out of it.
I proposed on Twitter today that for Shohei Ohtani to come to the St. Louis Cardinals, that we give Anaheim the St. Louis Arch.
I'm down. I make that trade every day.
We give them the Arch?
Yes.
I'm not talking about logistics here. Just value.
I'm just getting clarification. I'm not talking logistics either.
They drop off Ohtani, and it's their job to figure out how to get it back to Anaheim.
Okay, just making sure.
Are you for it?
No. Since we're now in reality, no, I'm not for that.
What do you mean we're now in reality?
Well, we were speaking theoretically about giving national monuments away.
We could just build a new arch.
Who said it was theoretically? Yeah, we'll just build a bigger, better arch.
We'll build a new arch based on the home run trajectory of an Ohtani home run to right field.
Yeah, it'll be an arch, but it just only goes to the heavens.
just goes up.
Coming out of Busch Stadium?
Yep, just the whole thing.
I'm having trouble as a person who doesn't get jokes and stuff following your logic, because I don't think that it's possible.
Can you clip that? Because that's the summation of pretty much the whole show with Ryan Wiggins.
I don't think the city has enough money.
How frequently are we having conversations here where sometimes you hear it, it's radio. Sometimes you hear it, but if you're one of the few people who are watching us on the YouTube live stream, you watch Ryan go,
I used to say, oh, Now I try to be quiet because it reflects poorly on me.
He'll like
when a joke hits late.
slap his leg or slap the table, and he goes back and he's like, "Oh, that was a joke, and I get it." Joke's always funny twice with Ryan. When you get it, and when Ryan gets it.
The last time that happened was Friday, not that long ago.
Which joke was that?
It wasn't necessarily a joke, but it was a part of a question about Dianne Feinstein. I said that her Senate picks were going to flow like wine. And you said, oh, that may be even a tip as to which state she's from.
My favorite part.
And I was like, yeah, it sure is.
My favorite part is when I can tell that you are agreeing with me for no idea why you were agreeing with me.
Just to agree. Just to make everything smooth.
And then 10 minutes later in the show, he's like,
yeah, that's
wine
right.
country.
What's crazy about that was that
Napa.
I wrote it. It wasn't even something you said. It was something I made and that you applied more meaning to. And I'm like, yeah, darn right. That's deeper than I thought it was.
The Cardinals are still in last place.
Yeah, they are.
It is May 16th. We are past halfway through May. It is almost Christmas again. And the Cardinals are in last place.
It's almost Christmas again.
It'll be Christmas before you know it.
Why do you always say that?
Because I'm right.
You are right, but I
See?
just don't like when you say it.
Why? Christmas is wonderful.
Christmas is wonderful, but I do like summer as well.
Sure. We'll go through a whole summer before we get to Christmas.
You can't talk about Christmas before the 4th of July.
I can do whatever I want.
You can't. It's illegal. Josh Hawley made it illegal. He's the governor.
Christmas. Doot, doodle, doot, doot, doot. Doot, doodle, doot, doot.
Do the horse noise.
You should just do all of Sleigh Ride right now. Just go for it.
I could.
Yeah.
I'm
go
not.
ahead.
No.
You sure?
I do what I want.
What a segment. Good one.
All right. Still 5 minutes.
So anyway, how about those Cardinals?
I know. I've already said that twice. Do you guys do any senior pranks?
Yes, but not in senior year of high school. So
then
that
it's
would
not
not be
a senior
prank.
prank. Are you thinking citizens?
I did.
Senior citizens?
No.
In your old age?
No, I am thinking citizens. We call them citizens pranks.
Loosen all of the wheels on the wheelchairs at the nursing home so that when they sit in their chairs in the morning, they just fall apart and you're like, that is a senior prank.
Man, I've got some great ideas.
He's like,
going into a nursing home, what we could do.
I stole all the tennis balls off your rockers. Now it squeaks when you go down the road.
Senior pranks have existed for decades. At Illinois high school, senior prank went a little too far. They ended up shutting down the school and closing it for a day. The senior prank, they covered the floors and walls with toilet paper. They also stuck Post-it notes and shredded paper everywhere. But before they did that, they poured body lotion and baby oil over all of the halls and stairs.
That sounds like fun if you're the kids.
Until you stand on the stairs.
If you're the adults, you might have a problem.
I don't know if there's I mean, you know the phrase good fun?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of it. And when my senior class, our senior prank was we were the knights. We are the knights, I guess. And they stole the knight from the school. And it's a metal knight. It's a full-size metal knight.
Heavy?
Pretty sweet looking knight. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think there was a group of like 8 people who did this. I was not one of them. I didn't know it was happening. And when I found out, it was one of the coolest things ever. They stole the knight and then they went and took 50 pictures of it, 48 pictures of it in different places, which included taking it to the east side of the state. They put it in front of the Welcome to Indiana state sign.
Wow, that's impressive.
And took pictures of all of this. And then at graduation, we all had one picture. Like they returned the knight to the school.
Before anybody knew?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
That's impressive.
They took pictures of it on the porches of teachers' houses and the administrator's house, like in their driveway and stuff. All of the graduates got a picture. And then when we went up to get our diploma, we took the diploma and we handed a picture. And so our principal put all of these photos in an album and just thought it was the funniest, the greatest thing ever. I thought that was good fun.
That's good fun.
Great in like an Arby's drive-through and just all of the funny places you can imagine putting a night and taking a photo.
One of the things that my wife's school's senior pranks did was they all camped out on they had a camp out on the superintendent's yard. So the senior class just went and they camped out on on the superintendent's yard and then left for school the next morning.
Yeah.
But he came out. He was a good sport. He came out and like gave him s'mores and stuff like that. But they just had a camp out.
All I can think about is lawsuits. What do you do what happens if somebody trips and falls in the superintendent's yard and they're trespassing, but you provided them s'mores and welcomed them and they burnt their mouth on the marshmallow? And I mean, it just, to me, the litigious nature of society right now, it really ruins all good fun.
Yeah, it does. Best prank I ever did was in college. So this wasn't a senior prank, but my brother is 8 years younger than me. And so when I was 18 or 19, he was 10 or 11. He came to visit me at college. So we decided in the dorms to put a sign around his neck that said, "I am lost and cannot find my mom."
Oh, no.
And then we would have him just knock on people's doors and stand there. And we would run away.
That's the best prank?
That's the best prank.
That's the best prank.
Because it really made people question themselves. Like, am I going to do something here? Should I step into this or is this a prank?
Are you for school senior classes doing pranks?
Yeah, good fun though. I don't like some of the pranks out there are like, ha ha ha, we keyed up your car and dumped paint all over it.
No, that's a crime and vandalism.
It's just a prank, bro. No, I'm not into that. But good fun stuff. If you stay away from the vandalism and like you said, with the night, that was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I think it was last year, maybe it's 2 years ago. I think it was Triad High School. One of the senior pranks was they hired a mariachi band to follow the principal around.
Yeah, I remember
that's
that.
good fun.
And I mean, the videos of it were very funny.
Yeah, it was great.
And the prince, I mean, if you're an administrator in that position or teacher, and it's good fun, capital G, capital F, good fun, you gotta love it. It's kind of like a high five. We're about to be done with each other.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking it out. And
It kind of feels like what Saturday Night Live used to be to a president, to a Republican president. It used to be kind of in good fun, and it crossed over into key in their cars.
Yeah, it got bad fast. Quick break. The YouTube live chat poll: if Joe Manchin ran for president, would it be as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? Hannah's going to give us your thoughts on that, your comments, and the results when we return. A reminder that the Mark Reardon Show has Brad Young on at 5:25 to talk about Kim Gardner immediately resigning today. It's done. Andrew Bailey's office, the governor's office, has acknowledged that. So the Mark Reardon Show is going to be all over that story this afternoon. And before we get to the poll results, we're going to answer Brandon's question, Ryan. Has Wiggins recovered from the Disney dessert buffet sugar overload yet? I think there was a photograph posted on the Instagram page.
Oh, I'm going to have to look this up.
Yes, at the Annie Frey Show on Instagram. You can answer that question, and we'll get to the poll when we come back.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. There are 3 locations in the St. Louis area. This is a family-owned and operated business that has been serving families just like yours for 30 years. And you don't get to last that long as a locally owned and operated business if you're not doing it the right way. They care deeply about providing you the customer service you need to make sure that you're making an educated purchase. So when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're going to flooring experts. You're going to the people who are going to understand, here's your budget. This is what you can invest in. If you're having a certain idea in your head about an aesthetic or a look that you're trying to achieve, and you're talking about hardwood or tech wood or ultra wood or the tech wood plus that has wider, longer planks, cleaner grades, they can attach all of these different points of knowledge that they have to help you make that educated purchase. But they also care deeply about quality and value. Michael's Flooring Outlet is the St. Louis locally owned and operated family business that when you shop there, you support 97.1, you support the Annie Frey Show, and we are grateful to support them. You can find all the details you need to know online at igotfloored.com.
Sharpshooter's Indoor Range can accommodate every firearms enthusiast from beginner to experienced. Skill levels focusing on safety and fundamentals. Buy a daily pass for just $21 or annual membership with discounts for law enforcement, first responders, or military with proof of valid department ID. Mention the Eat and Shoot combo at the Pit and Grill after you shoot for daily combo deals. It's bang good barbecue. Sharpshooter's Indoor Range. sharpshooterstl.com. Mention 97.1 and get a one-time use $5 ammunition credit.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. As the state's chief legal officer, I will enforce the laws as written. I will hold accountable those who violate state and federal law by knowingly hiring unauthorized workers. By paying lower wages and avoiding taxes, businesses using unauthorized workers put honest ones at a competitive disadvantage. Report businesses that employ unauthorized workers at ago.mo.gov.
Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Labor and Industrial Relations.
There's more riding on Metro Transit than people. Metro Transit helps move our economy. If you're a people person looking to change careers, join our team. You may qualify for a signing bonus too. We are conducting on-site interviews this Saturday, May 20th at the Brentwood Metro Bus Facility, located at 3000 South Brentwood, St. Louis. Metro Transit offers good health and retirement benefits, so stop by to get your career and our local economy moving. For more info, visit work@metrostl.com.
If Joe Manchin ran for POTUS, would it be as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? You still have time to get your vote in on the Annie Frey Show YouTube poll. The time is 2:44. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Digesting the Durham report. I bet Brian Kilmeade will have something to say about that. He'll join me Tuesday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Jolene, Jolene, Jolene.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I'm begging of you, please don't take
Follow
my
Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare with flaming locks of auburn hair.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. A reminder, at 12:25 today, we spoke with Gregg Jarrett, who gave us a really great analysis of the Durham report and what really that entailed for everything leading up to this point in time. People forgot that the Durham report was still imminent. And when you listen to Gregg Jarrett talk about it, he wrote a book called The Russia Hoax. He wrote a book called Witch Hunt that was about this very thing. And it really culminates with the revealing of the Durham report yesterday. And he just had a really, really great analysis of what we learned and the dramatics behind it, and the fact that there is likely nothing that is going to be done out of this. The only thing that can be done is a remaking or a reshaping of these bureaucratic entities that have gotten so bloated and so large that they are able to have this kind of political influence in the direction of our country. And so I encourage you, if you're on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it, follow 97.1 FM Talk and the Annie Frey Show, and rewind to 12:25, and you can hear that interview there on our podcast as well. Brandon asked on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, where we are broadcasting live, has Wiggins recovered from the Disney dessert buffet sugar overload yet? Hannah, did you post that picture of his dessert?
I posted multiple pictures of his multiple plates that Wiggins had at the dessert buffet. It was It was really something. I looked back at those pictures and zoomed in and remembered all of the little things you ate. What was your favorite thing you ate?
The butterscotch pudding.
Ugh, that was my
They had
least
cake
favorite
pops that were
thing.
not on pops too, and you could dip them in icing. Those are pretty good.
There's nothing like an iced cake pop that you can dip in icing.
Mhm. 4 different types of icing,
I was gonna
each
say.
a more patriotic color than the last.
I think the different types of icing were just different colors.
Yeah, they're red, white, and blue.
Actually,
And
the
there was a green
icing
one.
was for the cookies that you could decorate, but you used them for the
Yeah.
cake.
That's
pop.
also
I
true.
reappropriated them.
Mhm.
Perfect. Yep. I posted those pictures of Wiggins at the dessert party on our Annie Fry Show at the Annie Fry Show on Instagram. Check them out.
People do know that you are diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people who are commenting on that, trying to reconcile the photo and that fact.
Let me do that for you.
Yeah, I figured you'd want the opportunity.
So first, before I get into the diabetes, I want to say that when you go to a buffet, what is the point of an all-you-can-eat buffet? To eat as much as you possibly can, to max out the amount of money you spent at the buffet. So that's first. Second, when you take a picture after a big catch, you want to mount your fish on the wall. You take a picture of the fish next to your hand to show how big the fish is. In this case, if you're looking at the picture on Instagram, I want you to look at how big the fork is in comparison to the plate. Those are not big plates. And so, yes, you had to get a few of them because they're small plates. Now, diabetes.
Some might have started with it, but you do you.
When you, now, and this is something we've researched a lot. When you walk a lot, when you walk apparently up to 30 minutes or more a day, it changes the way your body handles insulin, apparently. And this is all stuff I'm learning. And we walked so much in those days that I still am producing insulin. I'm just not producing enough. So we walked enough that I thought there's no way that I'm going to have problems handling insulin today. So I'm going to go nuts.
I walked enough that I thought I would probably be okay.
We did walk a lot.
I earned it.
We did, but
Did you have any problems?
No, I didn't have any issues. So I think that tested the hypothesis enough to say it was okay.
It really only matters what you think.
Well, I
It
didn't
is your
feel like my
diabetes.
blood sugar shot up after that at all, which is the way I would have noticed it.
My blood sugar shot up after watching. you
Well,
do that.
everybody is going to go up
I'm
a little
pretty
bit
sure-
after.
I'm pretty sure
4
I have
plates.
diabetes now from you eating all that stuff.
I mean, if you look at the picture, you might glean diabetes from it. But I felt fine afterwards, and I felt fine
That's
that
good.
night. So I think I was actually testing that hypothesis on purpose because I knew we were going to do that.
Just on our trip.
That's
You know, in case
terrible.
something
Yeah.
went wrong.
Never again.
But I had already done it in November. Now, this is before the actual diagnosis, but I had an inkling that this was coming. So I tested it then too, and I was okay. It was a similar situation. I was at Universal Studios. So this was a great opportunity to test it among a bunch of adults. My kids wouldn't be around. So if I went into a weird coma, you guys would see it. My kids wouldn't. That would be
Ryan.
fine. And I
Well, I
didn't.
learned my lesson.
I was
No
completely
joke.
fine. And I regret not eating more now.
Oh my gosh. Could you have possibly?
Oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding?
No,
I could have
I am
crammed about double that. now.
dead serious that I can't imagine you having eaten more.
Oh gosh, this is nothing. This is diabetic Ryan being nice. That you can
This
see
is in
from
no
looking.
way, shape, or form advice,
no.
medically speaking, for anybody else.
No,
who's
it's
listening
really
right now.
not, because what I found since I made that announcement and got that diagnosis is that my numbers are barely within what are called diabetes, but are within the range that if you have it bad, that they try to medicate you down into. So I'm still kind of in that grace period.
Sort of diabetic.
I mean, no, I am, but the numbers are still pretty
So what
decent.
you're saying is if you were, I don't know, responsible with your food intake and stuff like that, you could get those numbers out of that range.
And I
You wouldn't
have,
be diabetic.
and they've already come down. Yeah. Now this might change that, but we were on vacation. So what happens
Your
on vacation stays
diabetic
on vacation.
condition does not go on vacation.
It does. It apparently does. When you walk that much and look at those, man, right now, even I'm looking at those glasses of milk going, man, that looks awfully tasty right now.
You did get your milk. That's what you've requested before we went, and you got your Disney milk.
Milk and champagne.
Champagne.
The
Mm.
value of the dessert, all you can eat buffet, the dessert party is that you get preferential and priority seating to watch the fireworks from a very nice place that's roped off from other people. So you don't have to wait for jockeying for a position crammed in with a bunch of other people. You have a lot more elbow room than you would have anywhere else. That is the value to me for investing in that. And then there's alcohol included, but I
had a glass of wine and it was amazing. I don't know what it was.
It was Moscato.
I know it was Moscato, but I don't know the brand. It was really, really, really good.
Probably proprietary to Disney.
Love Disney wine.
Disney wine.
Did you have any alcohol?
I had Moscato too because she said it was good.
One glass? Did you drink the whole thing?
Yeah.
I think that I didn't have any alcohol. I think that I think we had 2 drinks on the all you can eat, all you can drink.
That might have been for the whole trip.
No, I had some moonshine.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that
right.
was
You
the
did.
favorite thing I consumed.
I don't
the
make
whole
a trip without having the blackberry moonshine.
That's right. We all got to try it. It was good.
All right. YouTube live chat poll.
Now, now to take a turn. If Joe Manchin ran for president, would he be a Democrat, Republican, or independent? Did we go around and say?
We all said independent.
Okay. I'm going with the crew. Staying independent.
I want you to make a strong case
Fisher.
for anything else.
Nope. JB from YouTube said, I evaluated between Democrat and independent and finally said independent.
Vacillated.
There we go.
That's a word.
KK said that he or they voted for Democrat. Betsy Miller says, I don't know enough about Manchin to vote. I am with you, Betsy. A lot of people said, let's see. Manchin running as an independent is the only clear path I see for Trump to win a second term, says Dale from YouTube. Scooter says that he didn't vote in today's poll. I don't think Manchin's running for president. He's like Schrodinger's cat in that respect. I don't.
Ryan, Brad, you want to explain that? Or actually, Ryan,
I think Ryan would do a better job.
If you put a cat in a box, you have no idea whether it's alive anymore.
And then you don't know if you can put it back in the bag.
And then you have no clue if Manchin's running. you don't know unless you hear it meow.
That's what that means.
Marley from YouTube says that Manchin will run as an independent.
Just eating sugar again.
Somebody bring me some bears of the gummy variety.
Stop it. Katie Matthews says, I voted independent because Manchin isn't Democrat enough for the far left Democrats, and he has no chance running as a Republican. Therefore, he has no choice but to run as an independent. The final YouTube results are... Well, the question is, if Joe Manchin ran for president, would it be as a Democrat, Republican, or independent? 58% of the people said that Manchin would run as an independent. 37 people said that, not people. Jeez, I need to go home. 37% of the people said that he would run as a Democrat. 5% of the people said Manchin would run as a Republican.
KK says, why is the food so good at Disney? I've never heard that before. Just real quick, for the folks here who have just recently gone, people will say they'll compare Disney World to like Six Flags or your local amusement park, and they'll say it's just a bunch of bad food and long lines. Brad,
that is fake news,
big time, right?
Yeah, this is real food that's real good. Like the sushi that Ryan and I got, not the sushi. The sushi was legit sushi, and
congratulations.
Like I can't imagine getting that at Six Flags. Six Flags sushi, no, thank you.
I loved almost all of the food I had. There was one thing I didn't like.
What was the one thing you didn't like?
The pongu lumpia.
Lumpia? Yeah.
Thing.
It's a pineapple egg roll kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's one of my faves. All right. Stick around the Mark Reardon Show. All of the news you need to know about the Kim Gardner resignation effective today, right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Next.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repair.